Broncos and the Dolphins meet in Berlin for running back Sammy Smith. Last season was a forgettable one at Miami. Critical fumbles, cost games, and Sammy Smith, now a member of the Denver Broncos, is still stung by the heavy criticism.
A lot of it was blown out of proportion by the media, and they made it out to be more than it really was, and more than what I was looking at it as. As far as I was concerned, it wasn't a problem. I had 2 fumbles that were costly after coming off an injury that I had missed 7 or 8 weeks of practice. I was no way in form to go out and play football, at 100%.
Now Bobby Humphrey, 2 times a 1,000-yard rusher, has come to Miami from Denver. He held out all of last season. Would he do that again?
Would I sit out a year again? That's hard to say right now because you never can tell what the future may bring. If I'm put into a situation where I was put into last year, I would say yes.
Now Denver coach Dan Reeves waits to see if Sammy Smith will be a big producer for him. Don Shula already feels good about the acquisition of Bobby Humphrey. There's a football celebration going on in Berlin. Tens of thousands of fans arrived hours before game time on the expansive lawn adjacent to the Olympic Stadium. Bands are playing, good times are rolling as Berlin continues to celebrate. The wall coming down, and today again welcomes NFL football. Today in the 3rd American Bowl game, it's the Denver Broncos versus the Miami Dolphins. In Berlin's Olympic Stadium, it's shortly after 7 o'clock in the evening. The Dolphins and the Broncos have only played twice in the regular season over the last 20 seasons. Miami won both in close games. Hello, everyone. Don Criqui with Paul McGuire. There's great optimism in the camp of the Denver Broncos. Their top gun, John Elway, feels great. Underwent some off-season shoulder surgery. Right now, he's looking better than ever, Paul.
Looking better than ever and feeling better than ever. We talked to John Elway during the week, and John said, this is the first time in 3 years that I'm going without pain. Tonight, he might have a little bit of a headache because 3/4 of his offense is gone. Vance Johnson, Michael Young, and Steve Sewell are all out, so he's going to have to improvise a little bit with his offense, but they have a great defense.
Denver might have the best defense in the American Conference, and it'll be tested today by Dan Marino and the Miami offense last week against the Cowboys. Marino hit 16 passes in a row during one stretch, and he is buoyed by the acquisition, Paul, of Bobby Humphrey, who's a great pass catcher out of the backfield.
Not only is he a great pass catcher, but runner. With Bobby Humphries, in 2 games, he's gained over 100 yards running with the ball and catching the football. Dan Marino was very happy about the acquisition of Bobby Humphrey. Adds a new dimension to his offense. But he does have the Marks brothers, Clayton and Duper. And that is not going to be a problem for Dan Marino. He's going to be able to throw the football. There you see Bobby Humphrey there, and he is really happy about being with the Miami Dolphins. He knows that he's going to have a great year under Coach Don Shula. But the biggest problem the Miami Dolphins have had in the past and last year is their defense.
There's Tom Olivadotti. He is the head defensive coach for the Dolphins, and the thing he lamented about last season was the big runs they gave up. They allowed 4.6 yards per carry to the opposition, but he said that oftentimes when we stop a team for an extended period, all of a sudden they break a 30-yarder. That's what really hurt us. So the defense has to get better, and it could with the return of inside backers John Offerdahl and John Grimsley. Dan Reeves, in the middle of somewhat of a controversy in Denver, it's been widely reported there, and everyone now knows that he's in the last year of his contract, and as he told us, Paul, there's no negotiating going on because he can't negotiate with himself.
Yes. Well, I haven't heard anything about it. You know about it as much as I do. He said, if they're not talking to me, there's nothing I have to say to them.
Don Shula, soon to pass George Halas. Shula has 306 career victories. The Papa Bear led the Chicagoans to 325 wins, and he has just signed a 2-year contract extension at age 62. Coach Shula feeling good about his Dolphins. As you look at the weather conditions here in Berlin, temperature 65 degrees. Wind should not be a factor. Forecast overcast. There was heavy rain yesterday, and they're playing on a natural grass field, a very good one. The Broncos will kick off to start the game. And ready to kick it off. Then as the man will hit the ball downfield. Aaron Craver's back deep for the Miami Dolphins. Going back with him now is Mike Williams, number 87. Aaron Craver, 34 there. Shula's really pleased with him. He was their number 3 draft choice last year. Held out, didn't do much all last season. He's a runner-receiver out of Fresno State, and he's really looked good in training camp. ahead then to the 22-yard line. Dan Marino, the only passer in NFL history to throw for 1,000 or more yards in 8 consecutive seasons, comes out to lead the Dolphin offense. Good offensive line. Richmond Webb, 2 seasons in the league, 2 Pro Bowls. Sims is another third-year man with big, strong guy, 310 pounds from Iowa State. The offensive line is good. Humphrey will start in the backfield. James Saxon, a plan B from Kansas City, is the blocking back. You know about the Marks brothers, Mark Clayton and Mark Duper, each caught 70 balls last year for over 1,000 yards apiece.
Please reset the clock. 14:51. We will keep the time on the field until the clock is corrected. We will keep the time on the field.
Referee Dale Hammer. Over 60,000 at the game today as Marino sets his team first down and 10 at the 23-yard line. Last week against Dallas, he missed his first throw, then hit 16 in a row. A lame duck, and it's picked off. The All-Pro safety, Atwater, running it back for the Dolphins. To the Dolphins, 25 for Denver. And there, the Broncos take over. So Marino, who was hot last week, throws a whacker up there, Paul, and comes back at him.
Well, he gets hit just as he gets ready to throw the ball. He's waiting a long time. If you should take a look, he gets hit right on the arm by Brian Sauché, number 70. The ball goes up in the air. Steve Atwater intercepts. Remember last week, when Marino threw 16 in a row, the first play he threw the ball away. This one, he really did throw away. He got hit in the arm.
John Elway starting out with great field position after the interception by Atwater, who intercepted 6 last year and had 2 others called back. Denver goes from the Miami 25-yard line. Running high with the ball for the Broncos is Gaston Green. He was their top rusher last season, 1,000-yard rusher. Went to the Pro Bowl. Look at Elway's numbers last season. They were down somewhat, but he was, as Paul pointed out, throwing with a lot of shoulder pain that's been corrected by some off-season surgery. Offensive line, Davidson, a 300-pounder. Sean Phil, the veteran from Penn State. Hart, Wydell, and Lanier across the front. Lanier down to 12th season. Green starts as a runner. Shannon Sharp, who's a tight end, used as an H-back. He'll be in motion blocking a lot. Derek Russell, one of the starting wide receivers, along with the veteran Mark Jackson. Elway throws hard and is incomplete at the 15-yard line. John Offerdahl dropping back into zone coverage to break it up. Reggie Johnson, the tight end, was the intended receiver. Front 7 for Miami, Turner, Oglesby, and Jeff Cross. Outside linebacker E.J. Jr. didn't start at the last moment. Marco Coleman, the rookie, did. F.C. Jackson, J.B. Brown, the corners, 2 big, hard-hitting safeties in Jarvis Williams and Louis Oliver.
And Miami goes right away to 6 defensive backs.
Third down. Elway from the shotgun needs 9. Dolphin left early. We'll see if he was drawn offside as the markers are down and Elway's down the run. 5-yard average over his career running the ball, and downfield he's almost kicked at the 6-yard line. Another marker comes in. Shannon Sharp, his H-back, was the intended receiver.
Miami Dolphin linebacker Marco Coleman was offside, number 90. Top of the screen, you'll see coming across the line of scrimmage. He's down in a 3-point stand, gets across. Doesn't look like the offensive line. If the offensive line would have moved, they would have stopped the play. There'll be a penalty against Miami.
We have an ineligible receiver downfield, number 67. We have the quarterback, number 7, beyond the line of scrimmage. We have the defense right in, offside. We have pass interference on the defense. The penalty all offset.
Other than that, everything was fine, right?
And they all offset, which is, I mean, I've heard it 2 and 3, but 4, that's beautiful. 2 offense, 2 defense, they offset, they'll just replay the down. It'll be 3rd down and 11.
Should have just called the numbers of the guys who didn't do anything wrong. So the ball now positioned at the 26-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and just over 10 again. Broncos with excellent field position after Dan Marino was intercepted by Steve German radio in your ear also, isn't it, Paul?
I love it. Yeah, because we're getting the news, and if there's anything interesting, I know you've been practicing your German, Don, so if there's anything interesting, we can pass it along to the folks back in the States.
I hope you're not getting it at home. We're sure getting it here. Right now it is third down and just over 10. Here's Elway with a drop to the 35-yard line. On the run, he's got to take it up, and he finishes inside the 20 and down to the 18-yard line.
He had to get to the 15-yard line. He's going to be about 2 yards short.
Lippert Hopley knocked him down. David Treadwell was the place kicker for the Denver Broncos last season. Remember, had some trouble at Buffalo in the AFC Championship game. Hit the upright twice in a 3-point loss. And Treadwell is not coming out now. They're sending out Tracy Bennett, number 1. Giving him some competition for the job. It'll be a 36-yard field goal. The hold at the 26-yard line. Steve Pallur is the holder. Line drive kick, but he drives it through. And so the Broncos capitalize on the early turnover, take it downfield, and the rookie Bennett hits the field goal from 36 yards out. And Denver goes in front. Don Triggy with Paul McGuire back at Berlin's Olympic Stadium, coming to you live as the Denver Broncos capitalizing on an early interception of Dan Marino. Atwater made the interception. A rookie, Tracy Bennett, kicked a 36-yard field goal, and the Broncos hold to a 3-0 lead. And now David Treadwell, who's the incumbent place kicker, will kick it off for Denver. Mike Williams and Aaron Craver back again for Miami.
You know, Crick, you talked about the Denver defense, and when Marino went back to pass that time, he did have a lot of time, but he couldn't find a receiver who was open. And that you credit the defensive secondary of the Denver Broncos for that. And then he just gets nailed in the arm by Brian Sauché, number 70. The ball goes up in the air and Atwater gets it. But that's, you credit defensive secondary with the interception.
Denver with a standout defense. It was the best in the AFC last season against the pass. And no sacks, most interceptions. Here's Treadwell kicking off. Very short. Coming up on the ball is Mike Williams. And Denver with good team coverage after the short kickoff. They play out of bounds at about the 23-yard line. The front seven for the Broncos. Sauché, a former Dolphin at left end. Reagan, the nose tackle. Kenny Walker now starting. Second-year player from Nebraska. Great linebackers in Fletcher, Brooks, Mecklenburg, and Kroll, who was the NFL Rookie of the Year. Cornerbacks Tyrone Braxton and Wyman Henderson. Safeties, two of the very best. Dennis Smith and Steve Atwater. And Denver is very quick off the ball and much bigger up front than they used to be. Comes in to make the tackle. Mike Kroll leading the charge, number 51. He had 10 sacks in 10 games last season. Kroll had some injury problems, but he was as good or better than advertised when he was the 4th player picked in the draft. Mecklenburg next to him is almost a perennial All-Pro, certainly a Pro Bowl player. Gain of 2 on the play, it's now 2nd down and 8. Off and running with the ball to the outside is James Jackson, the former Kansas City Chief, who wasn't protected by them. And he's taken down by the right corner, Wyman Henderson of the Broncos.
This is what you look for in a preseason game. You're watching guys adjust. Now, James Jackson, watch the adjustments that he makes. He goes up into the hole. There is no hole. So the only place for him to go is to bounce back to the outside. The over-pursuit of the Denver defense is there. But when Saxon breaks back to the outside, he picks up the first down. These are the things that help players make the football team.
The big back, Saxon, 240 pounds. Now the Dolphins come up to the line of scrimmage with a first down at their 33-yard line. They trail in the game 3-0.
Oops. Saxon going the wrong way. Marino stopped him. Saxon would go in motion and move to the other side. Marino said, no, excuse me, let's go back. Let's take a timeout.
Has to burn one early. Back to Berlin's Olympic Stadium in a moment.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by the new Mazda. Mazda, it just feels right. By Nestle Crunch. Chocolate is scrumptious when it crunches. That's why you'll love Nestle Crunch. By Radio Shack. America's technology store, nobody compares. And by Coors Light, the Silver Bullet is the right beer now.
There's a famous Berlin landmark known as the Old Church, an enormous church in neo-Romanesque style, built in the 1890s. World War II left it in ruins, and it stands now as a memorial to many who died here during the Second World War when the city was literally bombed to the ground. Berlin totally rebuilt. And celebrating American football. They really like it. The Frankfurt Galaxy of the World Football League is a big, big draw. There's talk about a World Football League team being put into Berlin. Here's Marino having a problem. Swings it out of Humphrey. Looking to run before he caught the ball. Marino's not happy.
No, he's not happy because he hits Humphrey with the ball. He's got a great release. He gets the ball to him. Humphrey doesn't catch it. He's talking to Saxon again. I don't know if Saxon was wrong. Here's Don Shula, and he talked about it, objectives that, you know, in a preseason, what you really look for. And as everyone really wants to do, to evaluate players, but keep veterans ready to go 60 minutes, Don, and that's the most important thing. Get these guys ready because the next two games will be there, and then develop a winning attitude. Not necessarily winning the game. It's a winning attitude that carries over into the regular season.
Dolphins known for tough camps under Shula and the hot, humid South Florida weather. They go for 2 a days, sometimes 6 weeks in the early years. He's let up a little bit. Bobby Humphrey runs the ball, protecting it well with both arms. On a 2nd and 10 carry, he gets to the 39-yard line where strong safety Dennis Smith, down his 12th yard of Southern California, makes the stop.
Craig in number 71 gets blocked out and he misses the play. You can see Bobby Humphrey going in. You see Craig is down on the ground, actually being tackled by Keith Sims. It wasn't called. He was very upset about it. There's Bobby Humphrey on the sideline. He's walked off a little gingerly.
Humphrey was a 1,000-yard rusher in 1989 and 90 for Denver. And then, you know, sat out all of last season in a contract impasse, and he's playing for Miami for the same money he sat out for last year. Here's a throw and another pick by Denver. Another interception of Dan Marino. As coming over to get it is Charles Gimry, number 29. So Marino, who's been having a great preseason, having a bad day against what might be the AFC's best defense.
Well, when you take a look where this ball is thrown to the outside. Now, Tony Martin, number 89, is out there. Now, watch Dimmery. What he does, he steps in front. The ball was thrown inside instead of outside. Had the ball been thrown to the outside, at least Dimmery wouldn't have had a chance to make the interception. Martin would have been able to at least knock it down. But when it's thrown to the inside, great position by the defense. Interception, 2nd of the game.
These two teams worked against each other all week on a big grass lawn outside the Olympic Stadium. Shula said it was especially good for his team because Denver shifts so much. It gives his defense a lot to think about and adjust to. Here's a throw and a catch to Shannon Sharp. He's inside the 35-yard line and down to the 33 where Lewis Oliver brings him down. But it's first down Broncos.
You talk about precision passing. Watch where this ball is thrown. Number 56 is Arfordal. Watch him. He's looking at the ball, but the ball is right over the back of him. He has no chance to get it. Sharp is there to make the play. Lewis Oliver can't do anything, number 25. Sharp picks up the first down, but that is a perfect pass.
Gain on the play was 17 yards. Now first down and 10. To the run they go. Gaston Green turns it upfield and gets inside the 30 and down to about the 27-yard line. Tacklers for Miami, Alfred Oglesby and John Offerdahl. Oglesby coming back from the kidnap caper. That was the wrong excuse.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I'll tell you one thing.
Get into that in a minute.
Yeah, he was more afraid of Shula than he was of the cops.
Stayed out late, overslept, missed practice, and told Coach Shula he's been kidnapped and left out. Got to walk back 9 miles. Here is a 2nd and 6 carry down close to the 30-25-yard line as Marco Coleman, wanted rookie from Georgia Tech, number 90's on the stop along with P.J. Turner, 95. Miami's first 5 picks were defensive picks this year. They got 2 of the first 12 picks in the first round. A standout cornerback from Wisconsin, the 7th pick, Troy Vincent. We haven't seen, now he's in the game. He's at left corner, and they expect him to start there when the regular season begins. Marco Coleman from Georgia Tech.
sitting there waiting. Now the question is, how far did Stanley Morgan get? I don't know if they're going to mark this, if they're going to bring it in and change and take a look at it. But look at the draft choices for the Miami Dolphins. It's been a long time since they went after so many defensive players, my friend.
They're pleased with all of them so far. Eddie Blake's had some injury problems. He was actually an offensive guard in college at Auburn, but they're going to move him to defensive line. Broncos needed 4, and they got about 4 yards and 1 foot. So it's a first down for Denver inside the Miami 23-yard line. Broncos have intercepted Dan Marino twice. Atwater and Dimry with interceptions. And a rookie, Tracy Bennett, with the field goal from 36 yards out for the only points of the game. Denver leading 3-0. Draw to Gaston Green. And he takes it down to the 18-yard line.
Bobby Humphrey, Rick, has bruised ribs, and they don't know if he's going to return or not. He's there on the sidelines. It's a shame. Sammy Smith, the other end of that trade, he's not playing. He hasn't played. He's had the pads on 2 days since he's been to Denver. Bobby Humphrey is now out of this game. I know he'd like to play against his old team, the Denver Broncos. But isn't it interesting on third down and short yardage who Elway went to? He goes after one guy, Stanley Morgan, I mean, the veteran on this team.
Longtime New England Patriot in his 15th year, his first with Denver. And second down, they try to bring it wide, and Gaston Green with a burst takes it down inside the 15-yard line. 230-pound safety Lewis Oliver runs him out of bounds, close to a first down.
We're going to try and go back here and take a look at when Bobby Humphrey gets hurt now. They say bruised ribs. Here it goes. It's just a quick draw to Humphrey. Comes up into the hole, and he gets hit with a helmet by Dennis Smith, number 49, in the ribs, and I think that's where it happened.
Fortunate that it's not his foot. Bobby Humphrey's had foot fracture problems. Had those when he was a standout collegian for the Crimson Tide at Alabama. Third and less than a yard. And Gaston Green is struck hard by Jarvis Williams, the strong safety. We'll see if he got enough for a first down for Denver inside the 15-yard line.
Jarvis Williams filled the hole very well, but you're talking about Humphrey's feet. How about Steve Sewell? I mean, 5 broken. Incredible. And that really hurts the Denver Broncos offense with Steve Sewell out there, because he was the guy that Elway went to, I mean, on third down, and everyone knew it. It's like Crash Jensen for Miami Dolphins. Marino knows, everybody knows he's going to throw the ball to him, but that's the guy that gets open, gets the first down. Steve Sewell added so much to this offense, and now without him, he's going to be without him the entire year.
Well, Paul, one time Dan Reeves called Sewell the best back he's ever seen coming out catching the ball. Big part now. Elway has to check off and call a timeout as it's fourth down. They wanted to see what Miami was going to do defensively, and we'll be back. In the first quarter in the Third American Bowl at Berlin Stadium, the Olympic Stadium in Berlin, Germany. The Denver Broncos in their orange and blue and white going against the Miami Dolphins. Denver holding a 3-0 lead on fourth down and less than 2 yards. Elway and the Broncos go from scrimmage. Here's a penalty marker down as the pitchback is to Greg Lewis, second year back from Washington. He got enough for the first down if the play goes for Denver. Broncos are signaling Miami jump.
Miami signaling Denver jump, but Miami did get offside. Denver's fine. Oglesby.
Defense, number 96.
Yeah, it's Oglesby, number 96.
First down.
And they're complaining, you know, they always complain that somebody moved, and you're going to be able to see if somebody moves. Watch right at the bottom of your screen, you'll see Oglesby. There he is there. There's no one on the offensive line moves. There's a man in motion who is Sharp, number 84. He's allowed to be there. Oglesby went offside. This drives coaches crazy, even in preseason games. You're supposed to be out there thinking, and you don't give up a first down by a penalty, and that's what happened. You got fourth and a yard, and you give it up.
Out first and goal for the Broncos as again they go to Gaston Green, takes it from the 8 down to the 5. Lead tacklers on the play, the inside linebackers John Grimsley and John Offerdahl.
Well, T.J. Turner was in there and made the play, number 95. He got underneath the pile. They cannot pick up a first down. The ball is about the 8.5-yard line going in, so now it's at almost the 5.5-yard line, so they've got to either kick a field goal or score a touchdown.
Mark Jackson goes wide to the left at the top of your screen. Denver in a 3-0 first quarter lead. Oglesby left early again. We'll see if he was drawn off. This penalty goes against the veteran center for the Broncos, Keith Hartz. Working with the Denver quarterbacks now is Raymond Berry, the Hall of Famer from his days with the Baltimore Colts, later head coach of New England. But he's never seen anything quite like Elway's arm. He's seen a lot of good ones.
Center, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
And he was talking, Paul, about Weave Eubank, who coached him at Baltimore, who studied all the great quarterbacks on film to see what he could pick up. He said Weave came up with one determination. He said all the great quarterbacks have one thing in common. They all throw the ball differently.
The Raven, you know, everybody thinks, well, he's got to have a great sense of humor, which he really does. That was one of the funniest things I heard, that, you know, when you evaluate quarterbacks, they're all different.
Second down and goal from just outside the 10-yard line. Gaston Green. He takes it inside the 10. Green, a great player at UCLA, top draft choice of the Rams. They never played him, thought he was small. And he first got his real chance last season with Denver and had a great year, over 1,000 yards.
We're going to see Brian Cox, number 51, come in and make the play. Gaston Green is trying to take it's a quick draw. Elway goes back, hands him the ball, and he just basically tries to find a hole. With all the dancing around, by the time he got done dancing, Brian Cox cut in on him.
Now it's third down and goal. Elway against the big rush, stands in, takes a look, and John Elway on the run, throws it, and he is picked off in the end zone. J.B. Brown picked it off, and the Denver threat is stopped.
And the guy who put the heat on was Marco Coleman. Rick, he was in the backfield. He forced Elway to step up and move to the outside, and then he threw the interception. But it was Marco Coleman. J.B. Brown is the one that makes the interception, but Coleman is the guy that makes the play work.
Marco is one tough customer. He tied the ACC record for sacks at 28, tied it with William Dean Perry, but Perry got his 28 for Clemson over 4 seasons. Marco got his 28 over just 3.
Radio Shack, America's number.
To take a look at the top of the screen, you're going to see number 90, Marco Coleman, coming in and putting the heat on Elway. Right here, he's the guy that forces Elway upfield. He feels the pressure in his back, and when Elway turns to throw the ball, watch the reaction by J.B. Brown. That's what defensive backs are supposed to do. The ball he was throwing it to Sharp. Brown intercepted.
10-play Denver drive, stopped by the interception. Now Miami goes to the run. Aaron Craver gets very little. Maybe a yard as Michael Brooks, an inside linebacker, made the stop. Number 56, along with Greg Craig in the nose tackle.
At center now for Miami is Bert Widener from Eden, New York, my hometown. I just want to let you know.
Yeah.
Number 60, Bert is there.
Almost some of the great ones, McGuire and Bert Widener.
That's right. Don't you forget it either.
Marino working with a second down and 8. Swings it out. This is Aaron Craver. Linebacker Simon Fletcher turned it in and got the first arm on the carrier, and then the knockdown made for a short gain.
They're taping Bobby Humphrey, Rick, down on the sidelines, and that's not a good sign. You know, you don't waste a guy in a preseason game. I would imagine they will x-ray to see if there's anything broken in there, but they said it bruised at this point.
Dolphins trying to get it back in playoff form under Shula. They have missed the playoffs 5 of the last 6 seasons. Marino's almost impossible to sack. Waits for the rush, then delivers at the last second. Incomplete. He was looking over at Robert Clark, who was a Plan B acquisition from the Detroit Lions. Caught 47 passes for the Lions last season. They've liked him in camp.
Rick, I'll tell you, if that ball would have been on target, I think Wyman Henderson would have intercepted the ball. It would have been his third. He is not a happy camper.
Now Frank Robinson, a rookie from Boise State, is back to return Reggie Roby's punt. He hits it way downfield to the 32-yard line. Robinson with very little return. Denver's biggest shortcoming last season was kick returns. They didn't do it well, and Robinson has a chance to make the team as one. Coming up next on NBC Sports World, the NFL's top passers compete in the Upper Deck NFL Quarterback Challenge, a test of skill, accuracy, and distance. You'll see Dan Marino take on the Oilers' Warren Moon, Buffalo's Jim Kelly, Ernie Kosar of the Browns, and Randall Cunningham of the Eagles, and more. Also, NFL standouts with super speed take to the track to settle a yearly score. Who is the DHL NFL's fastest man? Plus, there'll be live coverage of the nonstop world-class action of Miller Lite Pro Beach Volleyball. That's all coming up next on NBC. First down throw by Elway down the field, and a perfect strike as he hits his second-year tight end Reggie Johnson all the way down to the 41-yard line.
The thing that makes Elway so dangerous, and when you talk to the defensive people, not only can he throw the ball very well, but he can throw it on the run, he can throw it standing in the pocket, and he can run. But look at this pass downfield to Reggie Johnson, number 89. Perfect throw right in the middle of the defense.
Biggest offensive play of the game so far, Paul, a 23-yard gain, and the Broncos have the ball at the Miami 41.
Got a little dark in here. The lights just went out in the stadium.
Guess the sun is setting. Gaston Green goes wide left again and breaks it. Gaston Green ahead for a first down. Well, Miami's continuing problems stopping the strong runners. Gaston Green gets ahead for a gain of about 11 yards. Jarvis Williams finally ran him out of bounds.
And quick for Miami, on offense, they will be without their center, Jeff Ulrich. He'll be out the rest of the game, and also Bobby Humphrey will not be back into the ball game. This Denver team, they really would like to be able to run the ball much better than they did last year. That makes Elway so much more effective. When you know, they worry about Elway running with the football, they worry about him throwing the football. But when you have Gaston Green, and if Sammy Smith can come around and play very well for him, it adds so much more to their offense.
Gaston Green getting a lot of work, but that play is whistled dead at the snap.
I think it delay a game.
On that last run by Green, it was a standout block by Sean Farrell, the left guard.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
They blame that on the quarterback, you know. Delay a game.
Why not? Blame it on somebody, right?
Yeah. Well, you got 11 guys out there. They can blame it on the center for not giving it to him.
Broncos will open at home at Mile High Stadium against their arch rivals, the Raiders, Week 1. Miami will be home to play the Patriots on Sunday, September 6th. First down and 15 now for John Elway and the Broncos. Derek Russell, a second-year receiver from Arkansas, raises his stock. Tough to catch those Elway fastballs when they're right at you.
Well, Derek Russell, Crick gets into play because Vance Johnson and Michael Young are out. But watch where he goes for this ball, way back to the inside. That shows no fear at all because you know you're going to get hit. J.B. Brown is there, and he knows he's going to get hit. He might as well go ahead and catch the ball anyway, and he did.
And that concludes the first quarter of play, and the Denver Broncos continue to hold to a 3-0 lead over Miami. This is Don Criqui with Paul McGuire back at Berlin's Olympic Stadium. There's in the background the blue jacket is Sammy Smith, the former Miami running back, now part of the Denver Broncos, but out with a groin muscle injury. And before the game, we asked Dan Reeves his feelings on Smith, who he hasn't really had a chance to see much yet.
We were very high on Sammy coming out of college. We still feel very good about Sammy as a prospect, but I have no way of knowing whether it's going to work out for us right now because he's been in pads 2 times. So we haven't seen Sammy at all.
So right now. They're waiting for Sammy to run, and John Elway just did and got ahead on a second down carry for about 5 yards to the 25-yard line of Miami, where he was tackled by a rookie linebacker, Mark Sandler.
It really is difficult, and you keep getting asked the question over and over and over again, how's Sammy Smith going to fit into your system? And what Reeves said, 2 days in pads, I mean, you can't tell anything. And Sammy looks a little bit out of shape. I mean, with that groin muscle, I mean, it's hard to run. And Reeves said, you know, being a back, I know what that's like.
Shannon Sharp lost it and appeared to get it. We'll see if he's still in that penalty. It's incomplete over there on the far sideline. Shannon Sharp bobbling the ball. His brother's the standout receiver for the Packers, Sterling Sharp. This guy's really coming on. Third year, played at Savannah State.
Shannon Sharp saying he caught the ball and had control of it going out of bounds. He's shaking his head. I don't know if they're going to give it to him. He still would not have had the first down. He would have had it if he caught it the first time. Now the defense there's a penalty on the offside of the defense. It was called on this side of the field. So the defense is offside, which would be a first down. Now we'll see if Shannon Sharp actually caught the ball, number 84. He breaks to the outside. The ball is in his hands. It's hit back up into the air. No catch there. Does he have control going out of bounds? He does. I would give him the catch, but it wouldn't make any difference anyway. They were offside and he got the 5-yard penalty.
Looks like a catch, but as you know, replay is history, at least for this season. A lot of people in the NFL think it could be back in some form next year. NFL is going to experiment in a lot of different things, look at different technology. There's no instant replay review this season in the National Football League. Denver has a first and 10 and a 3-point lead early in the second quarter. They go to the run again to Gaston Green, and the ball is down to the 16-yard line. They're whistling here, which is a derisive salute in Europe. It's not a cheer. I know what they're whistling at.
Well, they're not happy with, they want to see the ball thrown. But actually, they've got the wave going, and there are some gaps in the wave. The wave misses a couple beats as it gets towards the end zone.
John Elway, over the last 8 regular seasons, has quarterbacked 77 victories. That's more than Joe Montana, more than any quarterback in the NFL. Over the last 8 regular seasons. There's Elway sprinting out with that great arm. He finds Derek Russell. And Russell's down close to the 12-yard line, where Jarvis Williams, number 26, one of Miami safeties, came up. Dolphins with 2 good safeties also, both former Florida Gators, Jarvis Williams and Louis Oliver.
Well, I'm going to ask you, what do you think? We had a long talk with Bell Pinchbeck and Don Weiss. And the referees were all there, Dale Cameron. What do you think about the replay this year? Like it? Dislike it?
There's nothing to like it. It's not here, right?
I mean, did you like it when it was in?
I did. I think what Paul Tagliabue, the commissioner, said is the strongest argument. If they don't have it on the field, television still has it like we just did, and it's going to keep. It's always a recourse to correct what could be a game-changing mistake. Handoff goes to big back Reggie Rivers, and another marker goes down as Jeff Cross was the tackler for the Dolphins, number 91, and they start up. They've been getting exercised all week. Here at practice, there was a couple of fights broke out.
Yeah, well, that was a reason for that.
We told him to send Paul McGuire out, and that calmer heads prevailed.
Yeah, well, there's a reason for the fights and you know, during practice. Usually, I mean, the coaches, after all these years, still haven't caught on to this whole thing. When you fight in practice, like usually near the last half hour in practice, fight breaks out, and then the coach says, all right, everybody off the field, then you get out early. You know, but here, you don't get out early. There's still 12 minutes to go here in the second quarter.
And you used to have an advantageous position during those Bills practice fights, did you?
Oh, yeah. Here's the fight here. Now, I mean, it's just a lot of pushing and shoving. Doug Weidel, number 67, is there. Brown is a corner. Brown, get out of there. You don't pick on the guy that you have to look up to. You always grab a guy that's kind of maybe kneeling down. See, what I did when the fight broke out, the most important thing is to get your helmet on. And then you stand behind the head coach, and you yell everything you want to yell at the other guy from behind the head coach, because they'll never hit the head coach. Believe me, they don't do that.
They say never get in a fight with anybody with a number higher than in the team. Here's Elway with a throw and a catch. Nicely done. As Arthur Marshall is trying to make the club. At very big, but elusive and sure-handed. Makes the play. Hobley stopped him from going further, but the Broncos move on.
Now watch Elway's eyes. He stays, he's looking downfield, and he sees Marshall going all the way. The thing that Marshall does so well is he keeps on going across the field. Doesn't stop to wait on the ball. His job is to get across the field, get beyond the first down marker, keep on moving, and let Elway get the ball to you.
First and goal, Denver Broncos. Last time they were down close, remember they were intercepted to stop the drive. There's a free ball on the ground, and Miami might have a fumble recovery. Gaston Green ran the ball, and the Dolphins... Forrest Green to cough it up, and they come up with the ball.
Sean Farrell just threw somebody away. I think it was Jarvis Williams. He tried to throw him out of bounds. Look at Jarvis that away. But Jarvis, you don't want to go after Sean Farrell now.
He can bench press about 500. He just threw Jarvis for distance and accuracy.
he just won the shot put. I mean, Sean Farrell just grabbed Jarvis Williams, and look at him. I mean, he's mad. He just threw him away.
Very impressive.
Oh, here, yeah, it is impressive. Now, there's a fumble to the outside. There's Gaston Green coming inside. Gets hit. Jarvis is the man that makes the hit. The ball comes loose. Now, 63 right there is Sean Farrell. Jarvis Williams is playing around, but eventually, big number 63 just grabs Sean Farrell. Sean Farrell grabs him. Here it is. Goodbye, Jarvis. Excuse me. You're in my way, son. I'm trying to look at the ball here. Get out of my way. That was almost like a clean and jerk, wasn't it?
That was impressive. He actually had him airborne. Sean Farrell, the longtime Patriot, in a kind of a waiver wire snafu. They let him get up for waivers, and Broncos got him. The turnover count is now even as the Miami Dolphins again stop Denver down close. This time on a fumble recovery. And now the Dolphins are set to go from inside their 3-yard line down actually inside their 2-yard line here at Berlin's Olympic Stadium, site of the 1936 Olympic Games, and they're hoping, I guess, Paul, to get them here in the year 2000.
They don't have the inside track, though, do they? Does Australia have the inside track for the Olympics?
Got a London bookmakers who will make book on anything, including the appearance of foreign aliens. And they say that Sydney, Australia is the leading candidate to get the games in the year 2000.
Now, when we look at this, when I look at Miami down here, don't be surprised Marino comes out there throwing.
Marino and the Dolphins try to get some running room, taking it right up the middle. Aaron Craver stopped short by Simon Fletcher, a terrific outside linebacker from the University of Houston, number 73. Simon Fletcher led the Denver Broncos in sacks last year with 13.5. More great NFL action in the preseason tomorrow on NBC from London. We'll tell you about that in a moment, as right now Dan Marino and the Dolphins go back to the run. Aaron Craver protects the ball, breaks the gap, penalty markers down. He got enough, it would appear, for a first down if the play goes. Markers down. Atwater, who had that opening interception of the game, made the tackle, 27.
Miami's clapping like
Holding. Number 71 on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
You know, one of the things we talked about yesterday in the meeting with Dale Hammer is about when people see a running play on offense and how you have defensive holding. And I said, how can you call that? Usually what happens is the defensive man will grab an offensive lineman and pull him down to the ground, which is illegal. You're not allowed to use your hands against an offensive lineman and pull him to the ground. You can get off him, you can shed him, you can do anything you want, but you can't wrestle him to the ground. And that's one of the things that just happened. You get defensive holding.
That preseason game coming up tomorrow from London, England, will match two of the superpowers in the NFC. See, the Washington Redskins, the defending Super Bowl champions, and the San Francisco 49ers. Between them, they've won 7 of the last 11 Super Bowls. But the Redskins and the 49ers tomorrow at 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific on NBC. Marino on first down, stands in, dumps it, it's up in the air, and it's picked off. Howard Mecklenburg, a linebacker, dropping back in coverage, has one come to him, gift wrap.
You know, Kirk, one of the things we talked about with Shula about the Denver defense is about how fast they really are. Wade Phillips says that they are probably one of the faster defenses in the National Football League. And Marino is just trying to find a target. He does not have all the time in the world to throw the football, and he's trying to throw the ball short. It's the second one. The first interception, he was hit. The second one, this ball's going to be deflected. Mecklenburg is 77. Now watch, this ball gets hit. It actually hits in the top of the head. Mecklenburg gets the interception. Third interception.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering. By Old Spice, cool, crisp, and clean, it puts the wind in your sails. By Consort Hairspray, the fine mist for fine hair. And by Kentucky Fried Chicken. Nobody's cooking like today's KFC.
With Paul McGuire, Don Quickie back at Berlin's Olympic Stadium. Denver Broncos holding to a 3-0 second quarter lead. Have the ball now. First down and 10. They have 3 interceptions of Dan Marino here in the first half. John Moore in the game now. Second-year player from Virginia makes his first throw a good one as he hits elusive little Arthur Marshall. There's Sean Moore, who played for some of Virginia's best teams under George Welch. Was a late draft choice, 11th round. Played not at all last season for Denver. Played very little in the World Football League for the Birmingham Fire, but has been tremendous in the preseason. They think he's going to be the guy that'll be the immediate backup to John Elway, and they're almost certain, of course, that their #1 draft choice, Tommy Maddox from UCLA, will be the third quarterback.
With Steve Fleur on the street.
Moore handing off to Greg Lewis, and he fights his way down to the 15-yard line on second down and 3. Denver with a first down. Tackled by Brian Cox.
Gets kind of dark in here, doesn't it?
There is an unusual problem we must inform you of here at Berlin's Olympic Stadium. There's been a major loss of power, and it is now being discussed by the officials about sending everyone home. So we'll stay with it as long as it goes. Here's Sean Moore with another completion, another penalty marker, the completion to tight end Reggie Johnson. Lights went off and they can't get them back on. We'll have more on it as it develops.
There's a light over there.
That's not enough, son.
There's 2 lights on this side and 3 on the other side. That's really nice. We do have a penalty. Yes, we do have a game going on, but it's going to be very difficult for the players to see down there on the field. Now there's a whole bunch of lights missing. Those ones on the bottom, I think those are always on. We've got no lights in here, and I've got Elvis in my ear, which is really great. Great stuff. But they do have the flame going down there, which you could turn that up a little bit.
The only light going.
The 24-second clock. Well, no, they just went out.
Whoops. We have 8 minutes and 30 seconds to play in the first half. Denver continues to lead the game 3-0. They scored on their opening possession after intercepting Dan Marino's first throw of the game. They subsequently got a 36-yard field goal from a rookie place kicker, Tracy Bennett. That's been all the scoring, as there have been turnover problems both ways. 5 turnovers altogether. Here's another run by Greg Lewis, and yet another penalty marker down as the rookie Larry Webster. 79 was the tackler for the Dolphins.
This is an area where they get a little holding against the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
Lewis Oliver informed everyone. Clipping. See, Lewis, you were wrong. Don't trust the players.
Dale Hamer conferring with the rest of his officiating crew.
You've had some unusual situations in all the years that you've been broadcasting. Have you ever?
Well, I think I did the only rain out. I did the college all-star game one year in Chicago where the rain came down so heavy they called the game off.
Well, you may have the only one with no lights.
Still first down.
I tell you, we need sunshine, and that's gone.
Okay, we're going to have a holding penalty or clipping. Dave Waddell, number 79, and this is what they call in the line of scrimmage. You can't hit from the back, below the waist.
As you know, Paul, a day without sunshine is like night. That's what we're getting to here. Greg Lewis goes wide and comes inside the 20-yard line down to the 19 as Marco Coleman, at 250 pounds, ran him down. That standout rookie for the Dolphins.
Trying to get the ball to the outside and get Greg Lewis. Now, it looks like the entire way that they're throwing the ball to the outside, Sean Moore is throwing the ball to Greg Lewis. Coleman was there, picked up about 2 or 3 yards on the play. Miami will take that pass play every day.
This Coleman is a force. In the postseason All-Star games, he was throwing around 300-pound offensive tackles. Power player, they use him as a down lineman in long yardage against the rush the passer. Here's another thrown a completion by Sean Moore. Executing well to Jeff Hale. Now they're going to rule it off, but it was dropped. Start up again after the play.
You know, they had a few fights during the week. You don't want to carry this thing over to the game. You can't delay it much more because if it gets any darker, there won't be a game. Do they still get the whole paycheck? They don't finish the game. All right, Jeff Alexander coming out of the backfield. And here it is, bang, he gets hit. He never does catch the ball. Now, they're saying some things, they talk. And the offensive line. That's Dave Wydell. You know, he just got caught for clipping a little while ago, and if they start hitting, we were talking to the referees yesterday. Dale Hammer said, we're going to throw them out of the ball game. They get fined. And the fine still goes in preseasons as it would go in regular season. Was it 2,000 for the first time and 3,000, 4,000 for the second time?
Keeps building. Here's Sean Moore. This is where he's like Elway. He's very elusive and quick. He can throw on the run. Protects the ball and goes down to the 18-yard line. Players like Moore because he has tremendous leadership. As Reeves calls him, he's charismatic. Must have been loved by his fellow Virginia players because a lot of them wrote letters to Reeves saying, this guy was our leader. And take a long look at him.
Well, they're taking a long look at him. Larry Webster, they call him for unnecessary roughness, number 79. But he is so frustrated because he was held by number 79, Dave Wydell, for Denver. And he worked his way over. By the time he got there, Moore was already on the ground when Webster hit him. And Miami, they really like this young man, Larry Webster, number 79. I think he has a great chance of making his football team.
290-pound rookie from Maryland, Larry Webster. The story of this game, in addition to the turnovers, has been the strength of the Denver defense. Miami has been held to a total of 30 yards total offense. And we apologize also as we continue to lose light. The lights are off at Berlin's Olympic Stadium. Power outage. Here is a give to Greg Lewis, turning up and turning in and down to the 5-yard line. Twice before, Denver's been down close like this and then turned the ball over. Once an interception, then on a fumble.
Well, the guy we were just talking about, Larry Webster, I thought he made a super play on the outside. He's the guy that turned everything back in to the inside for no gain as far as the Denver Broncos are concerned. But it, you know, it doesn't. We're looking at our monitor, and it's not so bad, but it is dark. And here's this may be the only light left.
The Olympic torch from 36 has been rekindled for today. Sean Moore drops and looks. Rushes on. He's a good runner. Takes his time and throws for a touchdown.
Jeff Alexander. You know the interesting part about this thing, Crick, with Sean Moore, and you say he takes his time, he got banged around a little bit, but when he eventually throws the football, all the Denver Bronco receivers are behind the Miami Dolphins defenders. Watch what happens here. Alexander's going to end up with the ball, but when he throws the ball, look where everyone is. All the Miami guys are up front. All the Denver guys are back behind the goal line. Touchdown.
He's a real comeback story of sorts, even though he's just his second year in pro football, Sean Moore. He played only 10 downs for the Birmingham Fire of the World Football League. He was the second-string quarterback. But he's just been great in the Dolphins camp and in the Broncos camp. He continues to excel, throwing for a touchdown the first of the game. We are back at Berlin's Olympic Stadium where, because of a power outage, the lights are off. Nightfall is coming in. And we're in the second quarter with the Denver Broncos leading Miami 10-0. Time Diamond Vision, the only live light in the ball yard. 5:11 to play in the first half as Bennett, who kicked the field goal to open the scoring, kicks off in very short, taken by an up back. Ernie Carmelie comes up and takes it, and he's across to 25 and out to the 30. So Miami with very little offense, but 3 interceptions of Marino in the books. Tries to get it going again as Marino brings out the offense. You see his numbers, 1 of 6 for 1 yard. Last week against the Dallas Cowboys first-team defense, it's 16 in a row in the first half and led Miami to 3 scoring drives as many tries. Here come the lights. Dan Marino fires downfield, a perfect throw and a strike out to the 46-yard line. It'll be good for a first down as Atwater came up to make the hard hit on Mark Duper, one of the best.
Isn't it amazing how good a quarterback is when he has time to throw the football? Now look at Marino. He has the time to throw the ball. He finds Duper coming across the middle. Atwater's there, but it's just a little bit too late. When you have time to throw, especially this guy and Elway, they're going to connect.
Aaron Craver runs and gets it across the 45-yard line. Got back just beyond the line of scrimmage. Denver has such tremendous speed on its defense. They've got linebackers in Fletcher and Kroll who can run like cornerbacks, and they're big.
Now they got the second unit in there. Jeff Mills is in there. Tim Lucas is in there. Lilo Lang is the guy that came in from the corner position and made the tackle, number 21.
Second down and a long 9 for Miami. Dolphins with only 32 yards offense so far in this game. Here's a throw, an open man on the run. Taking it downfield is tight end Greg Beatty. Now the Dolphins start to move the ball as Dan Marino times up perfectly, leading his veteran tight end Greg Beatty.
Yeah, but you're also looking at the second unit for the Denver Broncos. And that time, Mark Murray, number 57, the linebacker, Beatty gets beyond him. And once he does that, Marino just dumps the ball over top. And look at the protection. He has fine protection up front, no problem there, and the ball is dumped over the linebackers. No chance. 18-yard gain, first down.
First down it is. Here's Aaron Craver running the ball as he slashes into the left side of the Denver defense and takes it down to the 29-yard line. As the game clock ticks down to 3 minutes to play in the first half. And the lights have come back on, so apparently, Paul, we're going to have a full night of football.
So far, yeah, until they go out again. But here comes Aaron Craver, number 34. He breaks back to the outside. Lilo Lang, number 21, is there again to make the play. Picks up about 5 yards on it.
Craver on second down keeps running as the Miami blockers now start to get helmets on people and open it up a little bit. And Craver finally knocked down by Mark Murray, but there is also a penalty marker down in the Dolphin backfield.
Now, Tim Lucas, number 59, the outside linebacker.
Holding, number 62 in the offense. 10-yard penalty, 15-second down.
That's Harry Gilbreth with the hold. But number 59, Tim Lucas, the linebacker, coming in and commits himself to the inside. When he did that, the back breaks back to the outside and would have picked up the first down. But there is a holding penalty. Moves the ball back. It'll be second and about 15.
Dan Marino, who last summer signed a 5-year, $25 million contract at quarterback the Miami Dolphins, now has his team with a long yardage play coming up, second and about 15. He lets it go. Man is open. Dancing into the end zone is Mark Clayton. Marino and Clayton can make it happen fast.
Not particularly a great pass, but Frank Robinson, number 23, gets beaten on his play. Watch what Clayton does. He reads it, comes back to the ball, goes up in the air, times it perfectly, makes the catch, and makes the touchdown. Again, not a great throw, but when you have a guy like Clayton, but when you have a guy like Clayton going for the ball, he and Duper, they'll come down with it.
When you can jump like that, you expand the strike zone. There's the extra point. with 7 points. The Dolphins get back in the game on a 38-yard pass-catch combination to Reno to this man, Mark Clayton, who during his career with the Dolphins in the regular season has 78 touchdown receptions. 70 passes last year for over 1,000 yards in his 10th year from Louisville. The Dolphins finally get offense after they really have been stymied virtually the whole first half by this good Denver defense. Denver leading at 10-7. Stoyanovich kicks off for the Dolphins. Running it back is Frank Robinson, a rookie for Denver, and he's out close to the 21-yard line. Bruce Alexander was on the tackle for Miami. And John Elway comes back out onto the field to leave the Denver offense. 1:57 to go in the first half. Denver holding to a 3-point lead. John Elway now leads the Denver Broncos offense up 10-7 on the Broncos as he swings it out. A low throw, but it's taken nicely by Reggie Rivers, who breaks it ahead and gets all the way out to the 32-yard line. Gain of 11 yards on the play. Rookie Troy Vincent was the tackler for Miami. Clock running down to 1:37 to go in the first half as Elway executes the 2-minute offense. Roll out, lots of time, and there's the Elway long arm. Wide open is Derek Russell. One man to beat. Will not do that, but he does get the ball down to the 11-yard line. Jarvis Williams caught him and held on after he was beaten badly.
And this is where you take a timeout because you got to move the length of field. The Broncos did take a timeout, but the clock is still running.
This is a foreign land, Paul. They haven't caught on to that one yet.
You know, this is a great play when you see Elway roll to the outside. What he does is he takes his center out there with him. Keith Karts, number 72. He goes out and sets up. Elway rolls, but Derek Russell ran downfield and no one covered him. Look at Russell. He's on the outside. Now he's chucked on the inside there, and that's okay. Waiting for some help. That's Troy Vincent. But look at downfield. Nobody. That's Lifford Hobley, number 20. Is that 29, 26? I'm sorry.
Williams. Yeah.
Jarvis Williams is down there. You got a young man, a rookie, playing corner. I think he was expecting, again, we don't know what defense is called, but he's expecting some help deep in the secondary. He didn't get it. Jarvis Williams never got back downfield.
It's good for a 56-yard game. Coming up at halftime, the Prudential halftime report. That'll include highlights of the Chargers and Patriots game. A report on Joe Montana, the 49ers, and his ailing elbow. Will his career continue because of that? Be shortstopped in an interview with Dave Shula, Don's son, who is now the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. It's all coming up on the Prudential halftime report. We have 1:12 to go in the first half. Don Criqui with Paul McGuire at Berlin's Olympic Stadium as John Elway hands off. Turning it wide is Greg Lewis. And on the first down carry, he gets about 5 yards inside the 10-yard line. Mark Sander, a first-year linebacker, was the tackler for Miami. With the clock running, Elway deploys his receivers into a 4-wide receiver set. Takes a look, throws the out pattern again to Greg Lewis, and he gets out of bounds. Gets good yardage inside the 5-yard line and out of bounds. Marco Coleman, number 90, knocked him out of bounds there.
Talking about saving the clock. Just a short pass to Greg Lewis on the outside. Now, if he can break something, he can pick up the first down and maybe get the touchdown because they're inside the 5-yard line. But the most important thing about the pass when he throws it to Lewis is to the outside that stops the clock and saves a timeout. 42 seconds. But Elway goes to the best you can get a play. But that play is so safe because you don't have anybody playing up that short on Lewis.
John Elway's dad, Jack Elway, former coach at Stanford, and now the coach of the World Football League's Frankfurt Galaxy is here watching the game. He's been at practice all week. Yes, and when he really realized John was a great one, he said, when I saw him as a junior in high school, he said, I walked out of the stadium, I was a coach and a dad, and I said to my wife, I wonder if he's as good as I think he is. He was. Draw play. And Lewis runs the ball into Jeff Cross. Little or no gain on the play, and the clock is down to 13 seconds to go in the first half as the Dolphins come off the pile at their leisure. See the clock. Apparently the Broncos going to be content to let it tick down and call a timeout. Well, apparently they don't have any left. Fourth down play, actually, and John Elway looking for an explanation.
Well, he wanted to call a timeout, and now there's no clock, no time on the clock, which is wrong because Elway went over. They're going to reset the clock and at least get a field goal out of this. John Harper.
There are 23 seconds left in the first half. That is the third and final charge timeout. Denver, timeout.
They took a timeout with 23 seconds. John Offerdahl has pulled hamstring, so he won't be back in the ball game. Miami's lost 3 guys so far. So that's one of the big things that happened to Miami last year, Crick, is that they had, I think, 6 guys hold out.
Yeah.
Didn't get the guys in the camp. And then when they got them in playing during the regular season, they lost 6 more guys to injury to the defense, and their defense ended up with 25th, I think, in the National Football League. They were horrible.
And on that 56-yard pass play, Vincent, who held out and just came in recently, he obviously wasn't in tune with the coverage. Now the field goal try is spun up and good by David Treadwell. So the Broncos extend their lead to 13-7. And we have 20 seconds showing on the clock.
I was just looking at the clock, and the reason I'm laughing is that it was 23 seconds. The ball was snapped, it kicked, and nothing happened. And after the kick went through, the officials put their arm up. It was good. Then 3 seconds went off the clock after it was over.
Tomorrow there is a great NFL preseason matchup on NBC from London, England, with the setting as Joe Gibbs, defending Super Bowl champion Washington Redskins, take on the San Francisco 49ers. A matchup of 2 NFC powers. Between them, they've won 7 of the last 11 Super Bowls. The Redskins and the 49ers tomorrow at 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific on NBC. Here at Berlin's Olympic Stadium, we have the Dolphins and the Broncos. Denver holding to a 13-7 lead. Miami's defense has been stopped for the most part by the standout Denver defense. And finally, a short time ago, Marino hit the big play, a 38-yard touchdown pass to Mark Clayton.
Let it be said that there was also Denver's second unit that was in the ball game, not their first defensive unit, except for Atwater.
Here's the kickoff by Treadwell, hit downfield. He runs it back again and gets it out to the 29-yard line, where Jeff Alexander comes down in to make the special teams play. The Olympic Stadium, the Olympic torch that was lit for the games, the 11th Olympiad in 1936 here in Berlin. Afire again as a movement afoot here to land the games for the year 2000. The city of Berlin still celebrating the wall coming down. Really a cultural and economic revolution going on here.
Scott Mitchell.
New QB, he's looked good. Gets this one through the arms of his intended receiver, Aaron Craver. Scott Mitchell really blossomed in the World Football League, playing for Sacramento. You see his preseason numbers have been terrific. Shula said he gained confidence. He'd always had a good arm, good natural ability, but he really didn't have the playing time and the confidence against pro defenses, and he's just come up tremendously in his overall performance levels, and he looks like right now the guy that's going to back up Dan Marino.
I think he's a little pumped. He just threw that ball so hard at Craver. You got to take a little off those little dump passes. You can't go drilling it in there. But that's, you know, getting into the ball game just before the half. 8 seconds. He wants to make something happen.
This time he skips one in. At halftime, we'll be going to the NFL Prudential, or the Prudential halftime update with Jim Lampley. One of the people Jim will be talking to is David Shula, the new coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, and continuing problems of Joe Montana's throwing elbow. His right elbow will be addressed. Don Shula, 62 years old, never felt better, said his fire to coach and to win is as hot as it's ever been. 20 more victories, and he passes George Halas as the NFL's all-time winningest coach. Rolling out is Mitchell, eludes the rush. Fires it downfield and hits an open man. That's Mark Clayton. Clayton looking for the 12th man, the sideline. Bailed out. That'll do it for the first half of play. So the Prudential halftime report is coming up next. Broncos in the lead 13-7. We'll be back.
Youngest head coach in the National Football League. In 1963, Don Shula was the youngest head coach in the NFL when he was with the Baltimore Colts. 29 years later, Don is the winningest coach in the NFL. Earlier today, I spoke with Don's son, Dave, who hopes to continue the Shula family winning tradition, and I asked Dave if there was any significance to the fact that he and his father begin their head coaching careers at the same age.
Well, it is a strange coincidence, Jim. It's something where it worked out, where I happen to be just a few months younger than my dad when he got started. But I'm happy to have the opportunity and looking forward to getting into the season.
Those of us who cover the sport are always looking for angles, and in your case, the story seems obvious. Is he at 33 facing any kind of credibility problem with players of similar age, assistant coaches who might be considerably older? Does it enter your mind at all?
Not for a minute, Jim, not for a minute. It's something I covered with my staff as we were going through the interview process when I was hiring guys in January and February. So we covered that issue. As far as the players go, it's taken time, and it'll continue to take time for me to earn their respect. That's something that has to develop over the course of events. And so far, since our first meeting in April with the veterans, and then our successive mini camps and volunteer camps, and then now we finished training camp, I think they've gotten the message as to who's in charge, what we expect of them.
What did you learn in that first preseason game against the Giants that you had not previously known about this job?
Well, there were some things that come up that you can only go through as a head coach. For example, the pre-game meeting with the officials. That was one I hadn't been through before, and I had talked to some of the other coaches about, you know, what goes on in that meeting. And so I'm expecting the officials to come in and ask me about our captains. Do we have any special plays? Are we going to have right-handed, left-handed quarterbacks, right-footed, left-footed punters? And so they walk into the head coach's room in Giants Stadium, and the first thing they said is, we don't want to know any of that specific stuff about the game. We just want to see how much you're sweating. So we had a good laugh about that.
What are the most obvious differences, what are the most obvious similarities between a Don Shula coach team and a Dave Shula coach team?
Well, our schemes of offense and defense are completely different. So the specifics that are happening out there are much different than between the two teams. What the consistencies that you would find would be the effort, the discipline involved, the aggressive nature of play on offense, defense, and special teams. That's something that he believes in. That's something that I believe in, and that's what I'm looking for from our football team.
Dave Shula and his Bengals are in Philadelphia to check out another quarterback returning from serious injury, Randall Cunningham and the Philadelphia Eagles. In Berlin, Don Shula's Dolphins trail the Broncos 13-7. And after the game, the NFL theme continues here on NBC with the NFL's Quarterback Challenge featuring Dan Marino, Jim Kelly, Randall Cunningham.
13-7. The Denver Broncos in the lead as they have pretty much stymied the play of the standout quarterback of the Miami Dolphins, Dan Marino. Don Criqui with Paul McGuire. Paul, your observations on this first half so far. Coach Shula hasn't had the offense he expected, and he's seen in recent weeks from his team.
Dr. Marino they saw a week ago, 16 for 16. But when you take a look at it, though, when Marino did score with Clayton, it was against the second unit. You talked about at the beginning, one thing done about the Denver Broncos, they have a tremendous defensive football team, and Marino and the Dolphins scored against the second unit.
Don Shula was like his son, 33 years old, when he took over as the head coach in the NFL. David, of course, now the head coach of the Bengals that you met at halftime. And Shula talked before the game about his son taking over and about the coincidence of them both being so very young. At the time Shula took over, he was the youngest head coach in NFL history.
he's going to have the opportunity. You know, he got the job, I think, 6 months younger than I was when I got my first head coaching job at age 33. And he called me and he said, Dad, he said, I'm 6 months younger than you were when you got the job. And I said, well, hopefully things will go right for you, David, and you're going to have a long career. They played their first preseason game. I understand they did well but didn't win. He was very disappointed, but I'm sure that David is ready to be a head coach, and he's going to do a fine job with the Cincinnati Bengals.
The 2 touchdown passes on came back in the first half. Denver, Sean Moore threw to Alexander for a touchdown. He had some time. He went back, scrambled a little bit. You're going to see it. Alexander gets beyond the Miami defense. When they see Moore moving, they came up. That's one of the mistakes that they made. Behind the defense, there's Alexander for the touchdown. And then the one we talked about a few moments ago was when Marino finds Clayton, Mark Clayton downfield. Now, there's Robinson, number 23. This ball is up in the air. Clayton knows what to do. He goes up, great leaping ability, makes the catch again. It was the Denver Broncos' second unit, not their first unit.
Well, check now the halftime stats. Miami had virtually nothing in the way of offense until late in the second quarter. You see the rushing yardage. Denver running the ball and throwing it. 218 total yards. Substantially more than Miami. Turnover's been a problem. They've intercepted Marino 3 times, have the Broncos. And there's been 2 turnovers by Denver also. They got Elway on a pickoff once and also on a fumble recovery. And the time of possession decidedly in favor of the Denver Broncos, to lead the game by 6 points. Continuing problems seem to have now been corrected. The lights were off here at Berlin's Olympic Stadium. There was some question that they might have to call the game at halftime, but now all that's back on. Our producer Bill Bonnell telling us that they were sending in dogs. I'm not sure what that meant. I hope they weren't coming to the booth.
They're just to get us out of here. You know, when you look at those halftime stats, and one of the things that's very distressing to both teams, and the thing you want to eliminate in preseason, you don't want to see it at all, the turnovers. Marino, I mean, he's just really looked uncomfortable right at the beginning. But again, if you don't have time to throw the football, you're not going to be able to find your targets. And then, of course, Denver, they were fumbling the ball. So these are the things that you work out in preseason. Hopefully, you don't carry them into the regular season.
They don't play in the regular season, as we mentioned earlier. Despite being in the same conference, Denver and Miami have only played twice in the last 20 years. 21 years. Dolphins won a close game in 1971, long before Dan Reeves was on the scene, and they also won a close game in 1985 over Denver. That was the last time that they played in the regular season. Denver, of course, coming out of the tough AFC West, a division that produced 3 playoff teams last season. And this year, Dan Reeves' team has to go against, in addition to playing all those tough AFC Western teams twice, the toughest division of all, the NFC East.
Well, when you look at it now, you see that tee there? Well, in the first game of the preseason, all the teams had to use a 1-inch kicking tee. Now they can use whatever they want. They were hoping is that all the data is not in yet, but if the 1-inch kicking tee enables teams to return the ball more often, they may put it in and make it mandatory. With this big team, they're able to get the ball to the end zone. Want more excitement on offense in that mix.
Pete Stoyanovich kicking it off now for the Miami Dolphins as he drives it downfield. Marshall takes it 8 yards deep and is counseled not to bring it out. And so Denver will go on offense from their 20-yard line to start the third quarter of play.
3-inch kicking tee. See what happens? No return. These people are not happy here.
And here is Tommy Maddox now coming into quarterback the Denver Broncos. He is the young man from UCLA that came out of college after his sophomore season. It was a redshirt year. He'd been there 3 seasons, played 2. The youngest quarterback ever drafted in the NFL. He's just 20 years old. And he is the guy they're looking to down the line to one day replace John Elway. And he starts off with a running play, gives the ball to Gaston Green, and he doesn't get much into the left side of the Miami defense. Linebacker Mark Sander led the stoppers. Maddox is from Hearst, Texas, a terrific all-around athlete. As a high school senior, he averaged 36 points a game as a basketball guard. The Dolphin is down.
Big Dolphin.
Sean Lee, one of the nose tackles. They took a Shot on the head, but Sean's all right coming off.
Remember, Arsenal now will not be playing anymore in this ball game. He pulled a hamstring in the game beginning. They also, Bobby Humphrey got hurt, bruised ribs, and Jeff Jelinek his pinky, dislocated his pinky, so he won't be back in the ball game.
Maddox is big and rangy, 6'4", 195 pounds. They want to bulk him up more. Excellent touch passer. He has the deep arm, and he also has the ability to throw the softball, routing it over the linebackers to a back. Now he's got a big problem. Before he can even set up, the Miami pass rushes on him.
Lewis Cooper.
8-year man, Lewis Cooper, number 50.
Well, when you look what happens, I think it's Reggie Johnson, number 89. He comes out and pulls out. He doesn't look back to the backside. Now, Lewis Cooper comes across. Johnson never looked to block anyone, and Cooper, no one touched him. He just went right for the quarterback. Now we've got another injured player, a Denver player.
He's up, though, and apparently all right, as we have substitutions with 14:23 to play in the third quarter. Ken Lanier, a 12-year veteran at right tackle for the Broncos, goes off. We'll be back in a moment.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Pontiac and your local Pontiac dealer. We build excitement. By Champion Authentic Athletic Wear. It takes a little more to make a champion. By Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil. And by the Prudential. In a changing world, one thing remains rock solid. The Prudential.
Maddox rolling out and in trouble again as we come back to live action. The rookie quarterback for Denver swept under by the Miami pass rush led by T.J. Turner. So they see a rookie and they're throwing the whole thing at him. Everybody's coming.
They're throwing the whole thing at him, and they're going with their number one defense, that being the Miami Dolphins. They went right after the quarterback. Turner gets there, number 95. They're just unloading. They're sending some linebackers and the defensive backs are covering downfield. But also, Coleman was there, and when you turn to look to throw downfield and you don't see anything but defense, kind of eat the ball.
Short punt by Mike Horan as he had to hurry it. One of the NFL's best. Horan gets one off and shanks it, and so the Dolphins will have the ball deep at the Denver end of the field with 13:55 to go in the third quarter. Scott Mitchell coming out. He played late in the second quarter. You remember, he'll be out to quarterback the Miami Dolphins. We come back with Denver in the lead by 6.
Warren Moon.
It was here at Berlin's Olympic Stadium in 1936 that the great Jesse Owens won 4 gold medals for the USA. And on the wall is named emblazoned Jesse Lauf in German. Now the Dolphins have the ball, trailing by 6. Mitchell throws downfield, makes the connection at the 20-yard line to fast Tony Martin, who might be the Dolphins' swiftest wide receiver. Dimry was covering. Short gain on the play.
Sean Lee, the nose tackle, number 98 for the Miami Dolphins, strained knee and probably will not play anymore. That's 4 down.
Wow.
You know, this is the thing that really killed this team last year. Again, there are a couple of preseason games left, but they went through so many, first of all, holdouts, Miami, and then so many injuries during the course of the year, they just couldn't get back, and they're all chasing Buffalo.
In the preseason, injuries count. Miami has loaded them today. Here is a handoff to Aaron Craver, another penalty marker down as Craver gets to the 15-yard line, tackled by outside linebacker Jeff Mills, number 52. Backfield motion.
Kirk, we talked about some injuries and people missing for Miami. Well, they've got 3 unsigned, Moses, Page, and Briggs. But you can add a few more guys to this list that are here, the injured. I mean, that list just gets longer and longer and longer, and it disrupts what you're trying to put together for the opening day.
And as you were pointing out, Paul, it's the same dilemma they had last year when they had 6 key injuries and 6 holdouts. Some of their key people holding out now, like linebackers Cliff Odom and David Briggs. Mitchell Looks over the middle and throws a perfect strike to Aaron Craver, and he's down to the 11-yard line. It'll still be short of a first down. Bring up third down at about 5 as Simon Fletcher, that big rangy outside linebacker, the former Houston Cougar, ran him down.
Mitchell at 6'6", and watch how nice he just sits in there. You have confidence in your offensive line. He has time to throw and just drops this ball right over the middle. Craver makes the catch. That ball was coming down, Don, not going up or out. It was coming right down to the knees of Craver.
Good catch by Aaron Craver, who was mentioned earlier is having a very good camp after being non-productive a year ago as a rookie. Back to Craver as he protects the ball. Brian Sauché, the former Dolphin, gets him. Now starting as defensive end, at least in this game, for the Denver Broncos. You talk, Paul, about the teams in the AFC East all trying to catch Buffalo. And Miami certainly has to shut down Buffalo's offense. In 2 losses to the Bills last year, the Bills scored 78 points against Miami.
You know, when you talk about the defense, and Miami was always known for the killer bees way back and had great defense. Last year, again, because of injuries, and it's not an excuse, it's just fact, they just couldn't put enough people on the field that could slow anybody down.
Craver flashing, he goes in. Game's time, the extra point will give Miami the lead.
Now that was a great hole in the right side of that offensive line. And I mean a great hole. That thing opened up, and I don't even think a hand was laid on Craver. If so, it was just in passing. Here comes the handoff, and watch the blocking up front. Here comes Craver. Just excellent blocking at the point of attack. Look at this hole. No one touches him.
And that is Denver's first-team defense, Paul.
Yeah, I was going to say you could have done it, but no, I've seen you walk. I know you can run.
That's a reach. Stojanovic spins the extra point up and good. So the Dolphins, who could do little against Denver, now move the... Coach Shula with some nice words for Aaron Craver, who he's been continually pleased with. Got nothing from Aaron a season ago. This season he's starting to look like a big leaguer as he puts the touchdown on the books that gives Miami the lead. Arthur Marshall, a rookie, won't run it out of the end zone. And Denver goes on offense from their 20-yard line, trailing for the first time in the game. More standout NFL preseason action tomorrow from Wembley Stadium in London. The San Francisco 49ers go against the Super Bowl champion Washington Redskins. That game begins at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, 10 Pacific. This game under the lights at Berlin Stadium. Tommy Maddox will run the offense now for the Denver Broncos. Continue to. The rookie from UCLA, just 20 years old. Dolphins threw all-out blitzes at him the first time he ran the offense and sacked him twice.
We got movement in the offensive line when they stop it that quick. You can tell. You know, the one thing, I mean, it's a smart thing to do when you get a young quarterback in, like Tommy Maddox. You want to come after him, shake him up a little bit. The thing that will stop the blitzes is a little quick pass or a screen, which we really have not seen. We've seen a couple of slip screens. Elway has thrown them. But to throw a screen pass will at least slow down some of the blitzing.
Maddox sends 2 wide receivers to the left. Reeves teams like his former coach Tom Landry at Dallas use a lot of shifting, a lot of sets. Running play on first down and 15 is good for a gain of about 3 yards. Gaston Green ran the ball. Lead tackler was Lifford Hobley along with Mark Sanders. John Elway, work probably done for the night on the sideline, but still very much part of the ball game. His father was saying when he was young, when he tried out for Little League football, his father said, "They'll be sure and try out for quarterback." His father was coaching. He couldn't go to the practice with him. He said he came home and he said, "Are you a quarterback?" He says, "No, I'm a running back and a linebacker. Quarterbacks don't do anything."
They really don't, do they?
Source of money, though.
Oh, yeah, they get all bread.
Whoops. Maddox really having problems. Loose ball is saved by Gaston Green.
Well, there's a thing that you have enough confidence in your offensive line that you stand in there. But you don't stand in there that long and decide that you're going to hold the ball down. Watch this. On the outside, they're blitzing, and they're coming after you. That's Coleman, number 90, that reaches in and just knocks the ball away. Again, you can have too much confidence. You've got to get the ball downfield. You either got to tuck it away and run with it or unload the ball, but get it out of there. The young man is having an awful lot of problems, and they're not really doing anything different. They're just sending 4 people, not an all-out blitz at him.
Now Maddox really up against it. 3rd down and 24 to go. That time you can let her rip. Ooh. Picked off. J.B. Brown now has 2 for the day, and the Dolphins are inside the Denver 20.
Well, first of all, Maddox throws this ball so hard no one can get it, because even Lewis Oliver couldn't catch it. Oliver knocks the ball into J.B. Brown's hand. Watch the steam on this ball. They run Maddox to the outside. Now they get him out of the pocket. Okay? This is good. Karts is out there with him. But watch him fire this ball. Here the ball goes through. Oliver hits him in the chest. Back over to J.B. Brown. He catches the ball and brings it back. That ball was humming.
Scott Mitchell quarterbacks Miami again. Left-hander, a touchdown strike. James Saxon, the Plan B acquisition from the Chiefs, takes it on the fingertips and goes in, and all of a sudden Miami's taken over the game after they really couldn't do anything.
I mean, this is a nice pass. Watch the fake and then the block there, and he has time to throw the ball over the middle. James Saxon, nice catch. You drop that one, just leave the uniform, keep right on going. I mean, that's touchdown.
So Mitchell gets his team in the end zone, and now Miami looks to extend its lead again. One play, 17-yard touchdown throw. It took just 6 seconds after the interception. Extra point, up and good. And it's 21-13.
Remember what Shula said. It's not necessary to win the ball game, but have a winning attitude. And that's what he's trying to instill in these guys. And they're exciting.
It's a pretty interesting division, the AFC East. New England came way up last season under Dick McPherson and should be better again. You know that Indianapolis, which was 1-15, is going to score with Ted Marchibroda running the offense to the quarterback like Jeff George. The Jets are a lot better. They've had a good draft, and they were good last year, a playoff team. And Miami, 8-8 last season, looks to improve. Here's when Shula started coaching. Here's where some of the other coaches in the league were at the time.
There's some crazy numbers in there when you're looking at it. Look at 10th grade. Cousin David Shula was 4 years old. I was in my 4th year with the San Diego Chargers.
Really?
That's right. I was 23, 20-something with Shula. He is a lot older than I am. He admits it.
62, raring to go. So Shula. One of his veteran players, linebacker John Offerdahl, was saying that he just seems to be having more fun this year, and it's carried over to the team. They've had a great camp.
And I like that winning attitude. And get your veterans ready to play. 60 minutes.
Pete Stoyanovich, who had a terrific year kicking the ball for the Dolphins last season, kicks off and drives it deep. That won't come back, right out of the end zone. Coming up back next is NBC Sports World, including the Upper Deck NFL Quarterback Challenge with people like Dan Marino, some of the great quarterbacks, Warren Moon, Jim Kelly. They'll all be going for the award. Bernie Kosar from the Browns is there, so is the Eagles' Randall Cunningham. Following that, it's the DHL NFL's Fastest Man competition, then live coverage of world-class action of Miller Lite Pro Beach Volleyball, all coming up next on NBC.
Tommy Maddox has got to start going forward. You know, he's going backwards. Nothing there.
Robert Perryman gets the call to run the ball, and there is indeed nothing there. A gain of about 1 yard at that. Gary Nichols makes the stop.
You know, we're looking at what being Joe Green, great football player he is, the defensive line coach. And, you know, guys respect someone that's been there. And I really believe that. You know, when Joe Green says something to the defensive line, they know it's coming from the heart. And Tom Maladati, there's going to be no question about him, his experience with the defense. So a guy like Joe Green, when he talks to them, they know that he was there once.
Rosie Ever in the Hall of Fame, Joe Green. Number 4, all 4 Super Bowl winners at Pittsburgh. Mark Jackson makes the reception. Mike Iaquinello quickly tackled him.
Well, this is the first pass to Jackson. One of the few veterans left on his team on the outside because they've lost so many, but Jackson does not get beyond the line of scrimmage, and this is going to be questionable because the ball is fumbled again. And Miami says they have it.
They look to have it. Marco Coleman was right in the bottom of the pile. Oh, Marco comes right up with the ball. This guy does some damage, doesn't he?
Oh, what an impressive young man this is.
He is.
I'm telling you, he is just everywhere. Now, we'll see what happens if the exchange is not there. Maddox is never really gets the ball in his hand. You see the ball is behind him. Now, watch number 90, Marco Coleman. He sees it, hits it underneath the Denver man, and then reaches underneath and gets the ball back. How strong did you say he was?
Well, they say in the postseason All-Star games he was throwing around 300-pound tackles, just running right over them. He's now doing it in the preseason of the NFL.
I think he's got a job.
Mitchell on the rollout. That's her fly. Open man. Touchdown Miami. Tony Martin.
Tell you what a heads-up play this is by Scott Mitchell. James Saxon is out front of him, telling him to go ahead and run with the ball because the opening was there. But watch what Scott Mitchell does. See Saxon 22, he's out there. Now he blocks. They're into play now. But when Mitchell takes a look downfield, he sees Tony Martin right in the end line and drops the ball. He could have run with the ball, picked up 10 yards, but he had enough poise to stop and drop it over for the touchdown.
The extra point, again up and good. As Miami at one point trailing 13-7, now leads 28-13.
When the game is over and the pain starts, I want 2 things from my pain relieving rub: fast relief and no odor. So I use Sports Cream, a strong pain relieving rub that doesn't make me smell like a medicine chest. I just massage in Sports Cream for fast, odor-free relief. Cream or lotion, Sports Cream sure gets my vote for fast relief and no odor.
The young man, you think he's happy? Look at Scott Mitchell. You know, you think it was a regular season game. Now on the other side of the coin, we're looking at Tommy Maddox. And
trying to figure this whole thing out.
Yeah, he just, you know, there's Raymond Berry. He's talking, he'll calm him down a little bit. I just wonder if they'll put the young man back in the ball game. It's been a disaster.
Stoyanovich rips another kickoff into the end zone. And Arthur Marshall is told not to bring it out, so it again comes back on the touchback to the Broncos 20-yard line. First down and 10 with 8 minutes left to play in the third quarter. Miami with 21 unanswered points to come from behind and take a 28-13 lead.
Well, Stoyanovich hit the ball 4 times now into the end zone. Gives you an idea that they have a strong case for the 1-inch tee so that they can return the ball because they want to see more excitement, and a kickoff, there's nothing more exciting than the kickoff return. Except for that touchdown pass that Mitchell just threw.
Made it look easy, really.
Oh, it really did.
Alex is going to go in there, Paul. He's right back in there.
Yeah, but even though I don't care what the score is right now, I don't think that's important. I think what they ought to do now is is run a few plays and let this young man get the feel of what's going on out there, because if they start going back and throwing, now he's not getting all the protection. See what happens.
Miami massing its defensive front. Play fake, freezes him for a moment. Maddox running for his life, shuffles it off, and has a completion out to the 28-yard line to Jeff Alexander, a fullback. And a rookie linebacker the Dolphins like a lot, Dwight Hollier, number 64, was on the tackle. Dolphins feel they had a very good draft, a defensive draft. Hollier, 64, out of North Carolina.
I still think they ought to run a few plays with this young man and let him really get the feel of what's going on in there.
Second down and just over 2. Greg Lewis breaks it out to the 39-yard line for a Bronco first down. Lewis was a very valuable draft choice a year ago out of the University of Washington, that great program. 5th-round draft choice. I think he's going to be terrific.
And, you know, this is what is really going to help the young quarterback, too, because the blocking up front is pretty good on the running play. Dave Waddell, number 79, gets an excellent block. And Lewis gets to the outside, picks up the first down. Again, touchdowns and winning preseason games aren't that important, but settling a young quarterback down, I think, is.
They're settling him down all right. They're setting him down.
That's true.
Draw play to Lewis. He's out to about the 40-yard line of the Broncos. Gain of 2 yards on the play. Gary Nickel, a former Jet, number 77, was on the stop again.
Well, you look up in that middle, and when they're all jammed in the middle, now Nickel is going to be the guy, number 77, that makes the play. Just slips off his block. But that's tough running, trying to run up in the middle. Get to the outside a little bit. The last play that Greg Lewis ran, he ran a little bit to the outside, off the tackle by the tight end. That's where the hole seems to be.
Broncos looking to get offense after they've had big problems since taking a 13-7 lead. Here's a throw to Jackson. Good throw by Tommy Maddox. Jackson running an option route, turned in, and Maddox had it right there.
Bestie Jackson makes the play, number 24. Now here goes Mark Jackson down. Watch, he goes to the outside, takes Jackson out. Then he just pivots, comes back to the inside. All he's looking for is to try to pick up the first down. Get something started, helping Maddox get a better feel of what's going on in the field. It's not so important to go way downfield with the ball at this point in time. Get some short stuff working for you, a couple of draw plays. Maybe, I don't know if they have a screen set in for this game. Put a screen in. Get relaxed. A little short.
Dan Reeves right now looking at 4 quarterbacks. Elway will be the starter. Sean Moore has looked exceptional all preseason, including today. Maddox, the rookie, number 1. So Steve Pelluer is the only holder, though, the 4th quarterback. Now Maddox brings his team up, and they need a yard on 3rd down. Dolphins got pushed early. Nobody came up. Might have been E.J. Jr. Martin Hockert's also a first-year player.
Martin Hockert's number 76 was in the backfield.
Encroachment, number 76 in the defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
I mean, you know, it's preseason. I understand that, but it drives coaches nuts. You got a 3rd down and 1. Anything can really happen, and you give them the first down. And this happened more than once tonight.
These teams worked against each other all week on the expansive lawns outside the Olympic Stadium. Both coaches really were pleased with the way things went. 3 days of hard work, hours against each other. 4 fields going at one time. Maddox stands in. Here's the rush. He gets his man, swings it out. Running with the ball is Reggie Rivers. Inside the 30. Turns it up and in inside the 20. And he's down to the 13-yard line. And all of a sudden, with Maddox directing the offense, the Broncos move the ball.
This is a nice play. Now here's Maddox. Now watch what happens. Reggie Rivers, 38, is going to break out. He has no one to block, so he slips out. Maddox, he feels the heat coming. When Reggie Rivers, once he gets the ball, watch the moves that he makes. There's Livett Hobley, number 29, coming in. His own man takes him out. Rivers cuts back to the inside, gets the ball back down about the 12-yard line. Just a nice run.
Rivers has been a good player. He was a free agent from Southwest Texas in his second year. Big back who obviously can catch it. He's also a good blocker. Oops. Greg Lewis looks for somewhere to go, and there's not much there as Marco Coleman, number 90, makes another stop for the Dolphins.
You know, when you look at Marco Coleman, Rick, and everybody's talking about this young man, but when you look at him, he is having fun. I mean, everything. It's a lot of fun for him out there. He knows how good he is. He knows how strong he is. He knows the defense. And just watch number 90. He makes some things happen. Here he comes down the line. Bam! He makes a play. And when he gets up, he's just dancing. He's having fun.
Broncos are not when he's stuffing them. Second down, and they now need 12 yards. Maddox gets time, fires, and makes another connection down to the 10-yard line.
Guess who made the tackle?
Number 90, Marco Coleman, on Derek Russell.
Okay, we've got some more bad news for Denver and Miami. Well, first of all, let's take a look at Mr. Marco Coleman with number 90. Is he having some kind of a game? Watch this. Bam. Hello. Come into my area. I'll make sure you don't want to. Lewis Oliver's got a shoulder, so he'll be out for the rest of the game. And the worst one, I'll get to that in just a second.
Maddox again, another throw, another catch, could go in, down to the goal line, touchdown Broncos. Barry Johnson, number 86, looking to make the team in his second year from Maryland. So the Broncos inch back into the game. The extra point would give them 20 points, and they'd be down by 8.
Barry Johnson, what a nice move he makes back to get to the end zone. Here's Maddox. He goes to the outside. It is his primary target. He's looking all the way. But watch the move he makes. Back out to the outside and then gets the ball over the goal line. One other thing that I want to tell you about with the Denver Broncos offense, which is Ken Lanier, who broke a bone in his foot, so he will be out.
He's a very important player. He's been a standout now in his 12th season from Florida State, Ken Lanier. Both teams taking a lot of hits today in the injury department as the extra point is up and good.
Now, Maddox, you're seeing these young guys throwing touchdowns. Scott Mitchell, we saw his reaction. Now you see Tommy Maddox's reaction. There's nothing that helps a young quarterback more than being able to throw a touchdown pass. Look at Raymond Berry shaking his hand. That's wonderful.
It's a great comeback by this kid. I tell you, he was really getting knocked around. Nothing went right, and all of a sudden he moved the team right down the field and in. 2:16 to go in the third quarter now. It's a 28-20 game. The Miami Dolphins have the lead. Back who studied all the great quarterbacks on film to see what he could learn from, and he said the one thing they all have in common is they throw the ball differently. One of the famed football figures in the greater German area is Tony Frisch, the former kicker for the Dallas Cowboys and the Houston Oilers, a great kicker for both of them. He broadcast Monday Night Football, NFL football in Germany. Mike Williams runs it back. He breaks it. Mike Williams in the open field. A man to beaten. Will he get him? He will get him down at the 17-yard line.
Lilo Lang is the man that saves the touchdown, number 21. What a tremendous run. 71 yards. Mike Williams, wide receiver. The kicker, Tracy Bennett, comes up and makes an attempt. Not a very good one. Charlie's a kicker. But watch this. Lilo Lang is the man that saves the touchdown. Or Williams is gone. And I mean gone. What a beautiful run. 71 yards.
Mike Williams from Northeastern University in Boston with a big play. And now the Dolphins come out with commanding field position again at the 18-yard line. Over 61,000 here at this game as the handoff is given. And running with the ball now for Miami is Bernie Parmalee. Let's check in with Tony Frisch down on the sidelines now.
Tony.
Hello, how you doing, Don?
Paul McGuire, how did you stay in such great shape?
Oh, I tell you, I'm riding my bike every day, and I told already news to check buddy, I'm ready. He should give me 24 hours notice, and I'm always good for a 40-yarder.
You're ready, still ready? You can still kick?
Oh, yes, no problem.
Tony, how about football in Germany? They seem to like this NFL game.
I tell you one thing, 21 years ago, Tom Landry was coming to Vienna, and I signed a contract what I couldn't even read, and that was the best contract what I ever signed in my life. And now 20 years later, you know, you can see a lot of people change their mind. We have already 3 USFL teams, that's a World Football League teams in franchises in Europe, Barcelona, Frankfurt, London, with an average of 30,000 people. In Germany, you have 160 American football teams. In Austria, you have around 30. So in Europe, it's picking up. Already, we're doing Monday Night Football, and already a second major television station. We have already 500,000 spectators.
We'll be back to you in a second here, Tony. We're going to check in now as we see Scott Mitchell look into the end zone. Markers go down, and that pass is incomplete. Tony, tell us some years ago when you were kicking for Dallas, how did Howard Cosell describe you?
I'll tell you one thing, always when I walked out, he said, listen, the guy don't look like a football player. He looked like a New York cab driver, but he can kick a ball. And that's what's important. In my business, you don't have to win a beauty contest. All what they want, put 3 points on the scoreboard.
That's all it is. Thanks, Tony.
I think you're a very attractive man, Tony.
Thanks.
And a great personality. He's really terrific on the air here.
A very attractive man.
Well, he's a lot of fun, Tony.
He was your dinner partner last night. We got third down and about 1.5, maybe 2 yards. Denver offside on that last play.
Third down and short. And Denver closes quickly. Reggie Halliburton comes up. Ronnie Halliburton makes the stop.
Ronnie Halliburton, the linebacker, number 93, just made a great charge to the outside, and then there was just no place to go inside. Parmalee. Watch Halliburton, number 93, on the left-hand side of your screen. Now watch what he does. He's being held. He doesn't really make the tackle. He is being held at the line of scrimmage and still gets away and makes the play. That's outstanding.
Another former Houston Oilers, a big part of the football program in Germany. Oliver Luck, a quarterback with the Oilers, is the GM of the very successful Frankfurt Galaxy. They had a losing record, but after they lost 4 straight home games, their next crowd was their biggest of the season, 48,000.
Oliver Luck, he speaks fluent German.
I think he is. One of his parents is from here.
Tony speaks excellent English. Tony Frisch.
They used to play a lot of tricks on Tony. The Oilers would tell the guards in different stadiums, oh, this guy's been following the team around. Don't let him in here. He's annoying us. Couldn't get into the stadium. Stojanovic now will try the field goal. And he hits it up. And good. And with 55 seconds to play in the third quarter, Miami now takes a 31-20 lead after earlier in the game the Dolphins trailed 13-7.
Not to score as far as Denver is concerned, but when you start losing as many players as these two teams are losing and you're getting close to the season, I mean, it is scary. I mean, we're losing some players. You're talking about players with broken bones.
Tonight there is a full moon over Miami, and strange things are happening on a special 1-hour edition of Golden Girls, followed by Empty Nest and Nurses. Hilarious comedies, followed by the show America loves and the critics praise, Sisters. That's all tonight on NBC.
Pete Stoyanovich Bogdanovich is going to be kicking off. The last 4 times he has kicked the ball into the end zone with no return.
Stojanovic was the #1 scorer in the American Conference last season. He scored 121 points, hit 31 of 37 field goals, 3 of them from over 50 yards. 4th-year player, former Indiana Hoosier.
I think there's only been 2 punts in this game, I think.
There hasn't been many.
Roby had 1 in the first half.
And Haran had one that he shanked, that's right.
That was it.
2 of the top punters in the league. Both have been Pro Bowl punters. Stojanovic spins this one high. It won't carry into the end zone, but it is deep down to the 2-yard line, and Arthur Marshall will run it back. He's been waiting to do this. Uh-oh. He's going to do something with it. Now his marker's down.
It'll come back.
Denver Broncos beginning their 12th season under head coach Dan Reeves.
Number 59 on the return. Penalized half the distance to the goal.
Tim Lucas.
First down.
Holding.
There's Dan. This guy knows Super Bowls. He's been a player or coach in 8 of them.
Coach with
played for Dallas, coached with Dallas.
In the final year of his contract.
He was a good player too. People forget how good he was. He scored 42 touchdowns for the Cowboys. But he is in the last year, as mentioned earlier, of his contract, despite all the success, and there's no dialogue going on between Dan Reeves and owner Pat Bowlen. Dan Reeves said earlier that he thought it was about 90% chance he would return as coach of the Broncos. He says now he'd rate it as a 60-40 chance that he'd return. Greg Lewis runs the ball for the Broncos. An off-season development, Mike Shanahan, the offensive coordinator for the Broncos. He was dismissed by Reeves, and I think now is with the 49ers.
49ers, the offensive coordinator. He's been mentioned that may be the successor. Also, Wade Phillips.
If Reeves didn't come back, he'd probably have to wait 10 minutes to get a job offer.
I don't think it'd take that long. He is an excellent coach.
And the aforementioned Tony Frisch, he was his roommate at Dallas.
Well, didn't talk much.
At the end of 3 quarters of play with Miami in the lead, 31-20, and has drawn over 61,000 for this game. Right now, the Broncos, who got the end zone the last time they had the ball on a Maddox touchdown throw, get the ball upfield and out to the 29-yard line. Robert Awalt, the tight end, caught at 87. We talked about Dan Reeves, and no conversations going on about his new contract. There's Pat Bowlen. He's you see, the president, CEO, and owner of the Denver Broncos. John Beek, Pat's left, your camera right. He's the general manager.
He's worried about putting a football team on that could win. That's what he's concerned about.
Well, 2 seasons ago they were 5-11. Last year they were 12-4.
I think his contract will take care of itself. Oh, movement by Denver.
Yeah, Reeves said he gives himself a 5-year contract. He could sign one to himself, like your friend Tom Flores negotiating himself.
Yeah, Tom Flores, the president, general manager, and the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, and he said he took himself to dinner. He just sat in 3 different seats, gave himself a nice contract, ended up talking to himself. But in this case, that man there can't. He's got to talk to somebody. He'll be all right.
Later coached in 8 Super Bowls and has had 10 knee operations. Dan Reeves. Maddox, the rookie, continues to operate at quarterback for the Broncos. A tip ball. Umpire looked like he was going to catch it.
I thought the umpire was going to snag it. Go. he just he put his hand up. Watch number 71, the umpire, right in the middle of your screen. The ball is going to be tipped right here. Watch. Oh, there he is.
That's blue card.
Yeah, Ed, get out of the way. You're going to get hammered.
Our producer today for NBC Sports is Bill Bonnell. Our director, John McDonough. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Terry O'Neill. Coordinating producer of NFL football, John Paratzis. 13:54 remains to be played in the game, as the Broncos go to the shotgun and get the ball out to the 25-yard line.
And Lewis Cooper was right there to make the play. Greg Lewis on a reception. Lewis Cooper, another linebacker, doing a great job. Coleman is now out, so Denver should be able to move a little bit. Marco's done everything else.
Got Elvis again in the headsets.
Yeah, I've heard every one of his songs before this is over. I'm going to know it, and I'll be able to speak fluent German.
3rd and long, 3rd and 14 for Denver as Maddox rolls out. Let her rip if he can. Here comes the rush. And they get him from behind back at the 20-yard line. And there's also a penalty marker down in the Broncos backfield.
There's got to be holding against the Denver Broncos. There is. So they'll take the play because there's a loss of about 3 yards on the play. That'll bring up 4th down.
Holding. Number 66 to the offense. Penalties decline. 4th down.
Chuck Johnson was holding number 66.
Troy Vincent, the high draft choice from Wisconsin, who returned kicks for touchdowns the last 3 seasons for the Badgers, is back, and they kick away from them. The highest player picked by the Dolphins. They had 2 first-rounders in this year's draft. So the Dolphins again take over the ball, and again in good field position as they hold an 11-point lead.
Chevrolet, the cars and trucks more people depend on. By Coors Light, the Silver Bullet is the right beer now. By John Newbean and Company, quality tax-free investment since 1898. And by the people at Nike, who encourage you to just do it.
We're back at Berlin's Olympic Stadium. Don Criqui with Paul McGuire. NFL preseason football, the American Bowl coming to Berlin for the 3rd straight year, and the Dolphins with the ball, holding to a 31-20 lead after they trailed early in the game. Dan Marino was intercepted 3 times in the first half, and Denver had a 13-7 lead. Since then, Marino's come back, so has his backups. And right now, the handoff goes to Bernie Parmalee. And yet another quarterback is in the game. This is Doug Peterson, a first-year player from Northwest Louisiana, number 14, who's quarterbacking the Dolphins.
You can believe all he wants to do is throw. Oh, let's impress some people. Let's go throw the football.
He played for the New Jersey Knights of the World Football League during the past season. Straight ahead give on a 2nd down and 5 play, and the carry's good for it appears to be a 1st down. John Kaczewski, rookie linebacker from Ohio State, made the tackle on Bernie Parmalee.
Getting everybody in the ball game now. Camino Bell is back, and number 38 is in the backfield along with Parmalee.
First down and 10 for the Dolphins in this 31-20 game. Miami in the lead. Here's a blitz. They pick it up, and he releases the ball, but too hard, and it's incomplete. 94 Milton Biggins. A very important part of their careers for a lot of young players, because performances now can make or break you. First cut comes up after the next preseason game. They have to be down to 60, and then Tuesday before the NFL openers down to 47.
And the one thing, talking to both coaches, they didn't specifically put game plans in. Miami didn't put one specifically in for the Denver Broncos. Right after this play. And what happens is that you put a game plan in that you want to see what players do. They want to see how they react to certain situations. They love scrimmaging and practicing against the Denver Broncos because they do an awful lot of shifting that they don't normally see in their division.
We had a fumble recovery here, Paul.
Miami says they got the ball. Denver has the ball.
Guys doing battle under the pile, and they come up with the football, do the Denver Broncos. Looks like Hesh Kolar, a cornerback, 25, ripped the ball away. We'll be back. First down and 10 for the Denver Broncos. They have some ground to make up, trailing Miami 31-20. Maddox with a long ball, well thrown, but tipped and picked off. It's coming back as Lifford Hobley, the veteran from LSU, brings it back, and now markers go down on the field. Robert Awalt, the tight end, the ball was right on him. Dolphin got in there and tipped it, and then the free ball was picked off by Lifford Hobley. Looked like Mark Sander tipped the ball for the Dolphins, the linebacker.
I think it hit Mark Sander in the head as he was running downfield.
Illegal block on the return of the intercepting team.
It'll be Miami's ball. It's a legal block on the return. But I think the ball hits number 58, Mark Sander, in the head, and then Lifford Hobley just keeps his eye on the ball and makes the interception. Going downfield. Now watch, Maddox is throwing the ball. 58. Here he is. He's got his back. Watch this. Point. Off his shoulder pad, Lifford Hobley. Good concentration. And then there's the clip that we see right there. We got everything. Got an interception, hit in the head, and a clip.
So Lifford Hobley, who hasn't got a lot of acclaim over the years, that's played good football for Miami, makes the interception, and now the Dolphins go from their 32-yard line, first down and 10. Doug Peterson still in at quarterback. Hand up and on the run. Bernie Parmalee runs hard. Stopped by one of the best young Broncos, Shane Brunette, rookie from Texas.
All right, here is the interception coming up with Hobley. Now watch, see the ball just hits Sander in the head, and then goes off the tight end's Awalt's shoulder, and then Lifford Hobley, just total concentration, gets the interception. Reaction drill. Again, when we're talking about game plans going into a game, talking to Coach Juliana Reeves, so we don't have a specific game plan for Miami and or for Denver. We do have a game plan, however, to see what our players are going to do. We have so many plays in, so many defenses are in, and we want to see how they react. That's the most important thing.
There's a well-executed play. Peterson gets the ball out to Camino Bell, a rookie running back from Illinois. And it's a first down for the Dolphins with 9:35 to play in the game. Practice time so important. You had a unique practice situation with the Bills back, what, in 1970?
Yeah, I was actually the last year when I just punted. I was not allowed to practice with the team. John Roush made me, when they had the meetings, I was out kicking, and when they went out to practice, I had to go home. I was lucky I was allowed to fly on the same plane with them. I don't know what I did wrong.
Long ball downfield. And nearly a pickoff, and then nearly a catch. Muhammad Oliver, number 42, a rookie from Oregon, made a play on the ball that was intended for Mike Williams. They both almost got it at different points in the flight of it.
Muhammad Oliver, watch this, misjudges the ball. 42 in red is Oliver. It goes through his hand, and then Williams almost makes the catch. When you go up in here, Oliver grabs himself in the head. When you go up in the air, you better make sure you have your eye on that ball and you can knock the ball down if you're going to cut in front of the receiver. Good play, though.
They've liked Oliver in training camp, too. Denver, he is a decathlete from the University of Oregon. Ball is run down to the 44-yard line. Bernie Parmalee, that rookie from Ball State, number 30, getting a long look here tonight. There's Tony Nathan, just off the screen. Tony, the great receiver out of the backfield. He's helped Bobby Humphrey a lot. I often say he's the best. Humphrey's been the best receiver out of the backfield since Tony Nathan played. On third down, Peterson sets up in the shotgun. And a drop downfield by Robert Clark. Dolphins have a wealth of wide receivers, they feel. That drop by Robert Clark, very uncharacteristic. He caught 47 passes for the Lions last season. Detroit didn't protect him in Plan B, and Miami signed him. And now Reggie Roby's in to punt the ball.
This is way out of, I mean, Reggie, this is a 44-yard punt. He'll just try to hang it up in the air around about the 10-yard line and hope they get down there and knock it down. Because he can kick the ball out of the ballpark from here.
One of the best, Reggie Roby, ready to pound the ball. Arthur Marshall is back deep for Denver, almost blocked. There's a penalty marker down.
It was blocked.
Carsley got it. So the Broncos get the big rush and partially tip Reggie Roby's punt.
There's going to be holding against Miami, which will be refused by Denver because they're going to get the ball at the 30-yard line, and the offense gets the ball back. They don't need to be marking off and let him kick again. And the ball was tipped.
2 fouls on the play. Holding on the kicking team, number 29. Too many men on the field. On the defense, the foul's offset. Re-kick.
Now they got offsetting penalties. There was one downfield against Denver, one against Miami. They'll re-kick again, and I guarantee you Reggie Roby will not take as much time to kick this ball as he did the last time.
Ball now positioned just inside the 45-yard line.
Reggie still wears his watch. He's, what if he's on the...
Check his hang time.
Well, in here, it's, what if he's 6 hours later?
Gets it high and deep. Arthur Marshall comes up on it, lets it hop. And it's down at about the 15-yard line, and that's where Denver will take over first down and 10. So the Dolphins continue to lead the game 31-20, and we'll be back in a moment. In the distance outside Berlin's Olympic Stadium is the famed Bell Tower. And this was not bombed during the Second World War. It was actually used as a marking site by Allied bombers. They would fly over it, and that would be a direct line over the Bell Tower and through the Olympic Stadium, and that would direct them even at night into the heart of the city of Berlin, which was leveled by Allied bombing. A lot of history around this area is right now Maddox is on the run and gets across the 15 and out to the 19-yard line. And a penalty marker comes in a little bit late. And right now we're going to go and chat for a moment with the father of John Elway, Jack Elway, who's the head football coach of the Frankfurt Galaxy. Jack, good to have you with us. They seem to like football over here. The Galaxy's had a great year.
Well, they certainly do. And in Frankfurt, they're as good as fans as I've ever seen. They really like the game. It's fun being here. You're like an ambassador to football, but they've really taken to it.
You find any players over here?
Well, we've got a couple, an offensive lineman and a defensive lineman, Gerald Okanowski and Olaf Hempel, and they're very good.
Jack, there's some indication that there may be a fourth team in Europe. Is that correct?
Well, that's a rumor that I hear, and Oliver Luck has been looking at different sites here. One is here in Berlin, and one in Munich, and one in Hamburg and Dusseldorf. So they're investigating those sites to add one to the European contingent.
And a well-executed swing pass play as the Broncos get the ball out. Tommy Maddox to Reggie Rivers. Tommy Maddox is where your son John was a few years ago, Jack. A young guy with tremendous ability coming in and having to learn the NFL system fast.
Well, that is a big step, and it's a very complicated system. I was really happy at the end to see him have some success, and as you know, that's a big jump from top college football.
Jack, we were just talking about some of these guys and how important it is to make a good showing in a preseason game, especially when you only have 4 preseasons. Of course, Miami has 5.
Yes, well, it is important, and he got a very shaky start. And, you know, and that's when I say a complicated system, it's multiple sets and lots of formations, and he hasn't had much time to work with that, but he showed that, you know, he's got some talent and scrambled a bit and moved him down the field.
Jack Elway, thanks very much, and lots of good luck to you in the Galaxy next season.
Thank you very much.
Jack Elway, coach of the Galaxy and father of John Elway. Right now we're watching Tommy Maddox. As Paul was pointing out, John Elway in great form. He's had pain in his throwing shoulder the last 2 seasons. They removed a bone spur in the offseason. He feels great. Here's a tip ball as Maddox puts some pop on it.
You know, it really was amazing talking to John, and John started smiling. And you know, spend enough time doing a National Football League, you see John Elway week after week, and you, of course, you've done him a lot more than I have. But you know, to say the first time in 3 years that he's playing without pain, and that smile on his face, and then when he go into the game and look around, and he has no receivers really to throw the ball to, but they'll be back. He'll have some people back when the season's ready to start.
And as we mentioned earlier, he's quarterbacked more winning games during the regular season over the last 8 seasons than any quarterback in the NFL. 77 wins in the last 8 regular seasons for Elway and the Broncos. Here's a throw. Tillman comes down with the ball and gets inside the 40-yard line. Cedric Tillman with good hands and a quick move, and he's ahead for a 17-yard gain.
And this telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League, and it's intended for private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Denver Broncos and the Miami Dolphins and the National Football League is prohibited. I did that very well. I don't usually do those, but I probably will from now on, though, as well as I did that one.
First down and 10 for Maddox and the Broncos. Spreads it right in amidst defenders and gets the ball to Shannon Sharp, and now they're waving it off. Incomplete.
I like the look of Tommy Maddox. At the beginning, shaky, but Denver did stay with the young man. And that time, the Miami Dolphins, they sent about 6 people after him, so they did have a full-scale blitz after him on that particular play, and he stood in there very well. You know, just talking to Jack Elway about this system, knowing it because of John Elway, his son, talking about it, but looking at it as a coach, and for a young man to learn multiple offense is just incredible.
And Denver's is as complicated as it gets. They really do have a lot of sets, a lot of formations. Here's a long throw by Maddox to an open man, good for 6. Cedric Tillman's in. From a bad start, Tommy Maddox looks every bit a #1 draft choice.
And he beat Vesty Jackson.
What a nice deep throw.
But you also have a blitz on, and when you have a blitz on, just take a look at it. You break back to the outside. Tillman is there. Vesty Jackson, no place even close to it. But again, you know, Rick, you don't know if Vesty Jackson was supposed to have some help to the inside. He didn't get it. Maddox is very happy. Touchdown. They're back in the ball game. Most importantly, he read the defense very well, got the ball downfield for the touchdown. Different holder.
So Maddox gets his 2nd touchdown throw of the night. This one to Cedric Tillman. Cedric, a rookie from Alcorn State. Extra point is hit up and good, and with 5:10 to go in the ball game, it is now a 31-27 game. There's Tillman on the payoff end, dancing in as Denver's mounted the comeback. A lot of points, a big 3rd quarter by the Dolphins when they scored 21 unanswered points to come from behind. And they still hold the lead, although it's now down to 4 over the Broncos. 31-27 Miami.
You know, you were mentioning Steve Kallur for the Denver Broncos was the only holder that they've used. Well, on that last extra point, I don't know if that's saying anything. The young Mr. Tommy Maddox was the holder. And look out for the onside kick, which I love.
Bedwell hits it downfield. Bernie Parmalee runs it back for Miami. And lots of Broncos sweep him under. So far, passing yardage in the game, Denver quarterbacks have thrown for 304 yards. Miami quarterbacks for 173. And Doug Peterson comes back out to quarterback Miami, their 4th quarterback.
We've not seen Scott Sefield. He's all right. He
He just said, I don't think this is his night to work, apparently, because he hasn't been in. Yeah, he seems to be all right.
Yeah, he's fine.
Actually have a fifth quarterback. Jim Crash Jensen, if need be, can get in and quarterback. First down carry. Once again, the ball carrier is Parmalee.
There's Crash. He has not even been in the ball game. He didn't break a sweat. They know what he can do. Marino talks about him. He's, you know, third down. We've been watching this guy for years. Everybody knows that Marino's going to throw him the ball. He gets open and he catches it.
Yeah.
He's like Sewell. I mean, it's two guys that are identical players. And of course, Sewell's a little bit faster.
Marino said the addition of Humphrey gives them the option out of a 4 wide receiver set with 1 back to run the ball, because Humphrey's such a good runner. That's something Jensen can't do. And again, they go to the run as the ball is taken by Bernie Parmalee. Bernie's getting a full shot tonight, trying to make the club as the game clock ticks down now to 4:03 to play, and there's a timeout on the field. For those of us who worked on the Olympic Games in Barcelona for NBC, a lot of people were part of a great effort, and we're going to show them their names now. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Terry O'Neill. The coordinating producer of football is John Ferrazis. Today's game produced by Bill Bonnell and directed by John McDonough. Associate Director Raymond B. Smaltz and production associates Harold Bryant and Mark Zimmerman. Technical Director Phil Doucette. Our production manager Ralph McFarland. Technical manager Colin Callow. 4:03 left to play. Miami has the ball and a 31-27 lead.
And the smallest man on the field is out there. Oops.
Ball is slapped right back at Peterson by Mark Blythe, a rookie from Penn State. He's been doing that regularly in the drills. Mark Blythe, free agent, but he's been tipping so many balls, these guys think they might have to keep him. Good pass rusher. Now Reggie Roby is back on the field for Miami to punt the ball. And Arthur Marshall goes back deep for the Broncos.
Man, we were talking about Crash Jensen.
Jim Jensen and a tag. .3:43 to play. Miami holding to a 31-27 lead. Coming up next on NBC Sports World, the NFL's top passers compete in the Upper Deck NFL Quarterback Challenge, a test of skill, accuracy, and distance. You'll see Miami's Dan Marino take on people like Warren Moon of the Oilers, Jim Kelly of the Bills, Bernie Kosar of the Browns, and Randall Cunningham of the Eagles. More quarterbacks will compete. Also NFL standouts with the great speed, take to the track to settle a yearly score. Who is the DHL NFL's fastest man? And that'll be followed by Miller Lite Pro Beach Volleyball. It's all coming up next on NBC. Long ball by Maddox again. Marshall's out there, but this time it's broken up after almost being intercepted by Troy Vincent, the rookie standout and the top draft choice.
Oh, Maddox, when he looks at this replay, when he sees the film, he's going to be very upset with himself. All he had to do was go left. And Shannon Sharp on the other side of the field was wide open. Here he throws into double coverage to Marshall. But on the other side of the field, Shannon Sharp was one-on-one and was open. I wonder if they go back there.
Maddox again, dropping on 2nd down and 10. Loops it over the top. Big hit put on by Sander. Kirk Carruthers comes up to make a stop. As Reggie Rivers caught the ball and paid. That brings up 3rd down and short now for Denver. Brock Broncos with a touchdown would take the lead. 3:07 on the clock running left to play in the game. Denver trailing 31-27. Maddox from the shotgun gets time, makes the connection. Rivers has it. It's down Denver down to the 38-yard line. And Kirk Carruthers, a rookie free agent who played very well for the Seminoles of Florida State over the last 4 years, again makes the tackle.
You know how valuable this 2-minute drill is to a guy like Tommy Maddox. I mean, this really shows the coaches whether he has the heads-up play or not in the last 2 or 3 minutes of a ball game, coming from behind and knowing he has to move the team not only down the field to score, but they have to score a touchdown.
This time, Maddox doesn't have time, and it's Marco Coleman who sweeps in again. Another rookie number 1 who's been applying pressure all night.
See something else. I mean, Marco Coleman is just an outstanding football player. He stepped in and like he's played this position for a long, long time. Here comes Coleman. Watch number 90 on the outside. Just does not stop. He gets hit, gets rid of the blocker, and then makes the play. That's hustle. That is hustle.
Great ability. Coleman makes the tackle, and the ball is spotted now at the 40-yard line of the Dolphins. Denver has the ball. 2:19 to play in the game. Both these coaches expressed before the game they want to win it. And Dan Reeves hot about something.
He wants some time put back on the clock. It was 2:09 a moment ago. Now it's 2:19. And 25-second clock is moving along.
While the officials confer and figure out what page we're on, Tommy Maddox trots over and gets some advice from Dan Reeves.
Reeves is still going to talk to Dale Hammer.
We're ready to go from the 40-yard line. Second down and about 13 yards to go. You weren't at the Barcelona, Paul, but it was a great experience, and certainly everyone at NBC is to be congratulated for the effort put forth. It's really like the 7 labors of Hercules to pull that thing off. But President Dick Ebersol and executive producer Terry O'Neill and everybody else who was about 1,500 people. It was really something to be a part of. The city of Barcelona did a beautiful job. And the whole thing came together just beautifully.
You weathered this very well, though. You look like you didn't even work.
Yeah, it worked.
Huh?
Trust me. Everybody did.
Yeah, but you always look rested, Crick. That Buffalo upbringing. Now that they've gotten it all straightened out, and they're not going to tell us what it's all about. Now, there's 2:19, and Shula's not very happy. I know the time is always kept on the field anyway. Isn't that correct? It's always kept on the field no matter what happens. But what he's saying here, there should be, if they don't have a timeout, there better be a timeout, because even though the quarterback is sacked, the clock stops. But once the ball is set, the clock moves. Now, if the clock is not moved, obviously Denver must have taken a timeout, and that's what Shula, I think, is upset about.
Tommy Maddox so far, after that slow start, Paul, has completed 14 of 19 passes for 169 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's thrown 2 interceptions. And here's some of the NFL news of the day.
McNeil's case continues.
7 weeks of testimony being given in Minneapolis, and apparently not close to any juried verdict. Jury hasn't gone out on that. Expansion teams to be named in October. Leading candidates St. Louis, Baltimore, and the Carolinas. Replay being tested weekly, as Don Weiss from the NFL was telling us yesterday, and Val Pinchbeck, they're using different technology every week, and it could come back in an amended form. It might not be as complex as it was before. In-helmet audio communication between players is being tested.
There's 5 teams that are doing that. One will be Buffalo, I think it's next week, Buffalo-Kansas City game that they will be testing Elvis in your headset.
Maddox stands in, swings it out, not quite there, incomplete. It'll bring third down and 12.
That's one of those passes that works sometime in college. It doesn't work in the pros. You know, where you look downfield and throw it out to the right without looking at the receiver, especially when there's bodies flying around. Maddox tried to get away with one. Now you got third and long. We still, you know, when you have a whole deal like that, we should get some kind of an explanation, shouldn't we? We didn't get it.
We did not.
Referee Dale Hammer didn't want to give it to us.
So we play on. 2:08 to go. Denver looking to score and go ahead, down 31-27. Oh. Picked off. Bruce Alexander on the run for the Dolphins. Probably a game saver as the Dolphins now take over the ball with 1:55 to play.
Maddox took a shot from Marco Coleman when he threw this ball up, and if he didn't duck, Cox is grabbing Marco Coleman. Watch the end of this play, number 90. You think he's quitting at all? Here he comes, and watch what happens to Maddox. Bam! And I mean, he's out of there. You just disappeared. And there's the interception. Marco Coleman has been all over this football field.
Achilles has been wonderful. And we'll be back with the concluding one. Here's our American Bowl MVP, rookie Marco Coleman, a Yellow Jacket from Georgia Tech, who has been a dominator in this preseason game. He didn't bring that smile out in the field with him.
No, he didn't. Watching Maddox, he's going to talk about ducking, get rid of the ball. Watch this. Get out. Bam!
Guy is tremendous.
Marco is everywhere. Nice job today, Marco. I'll keep him. He's a keeper.
A happy guy.
Huh? Think to keep him?
Yeah, boy, he's great. Hearing that name.
Put him along with Offerdahl, a few other guys. It'll be all right.
Dolphins looking to run out the clock. On first down and 10, they take it across the 20 out to the 22. Parmalee runs the ball. Rookie Tommy Maddox getting some counsel from now a 10-year veteran, John Elway.
John Elway saying, look it, duck, get out of there. I mean, don't only throw it, but get out of there when you're throwing it. Throw backwards. Move out of there. That guy's going to kill you.
The leader of the quarterback class of '83. It's interesting, that class, though, in Super Bowls is 0-7.
There's some pretty good players.
Yeah, Elway's 0-3, Kelly's 0-2, Marino's 0-1, Tony Eason 0-1. And Ken O'Brien and Blackledge never got there. O'Brien's still playing. He could. Dan Marino got to the Super Bowl his second year, 1984, when he had the most phenomenal passing year of any quarterback in NFL history. Threw for 48 touchdowns his second year in the league against just 17 interceptions, passed for over 5,000 yards. Peterson is still throwing. Looking to get a long look. He went to Scott Miller, overthrew him, and that stops the clock with 1:45 to play. Using every down to their fullest.
No, I didn't know if that, I mean, the plays are being sent in, so obviously that play, you know, looking at Denver, they already taken a timeout, looking at them, so maybe they be up on a line of scrimmage, we can get away with one.
Been an unusual game. Dan Marino, who hit 16 passes in a row last week against the Cowboys, his first pass in this game was intercepted by All-Pro safety Steve Atwater. Soon after Denver had the first point, 3-0. Keith Woodside now runs the ball for Miami. Denver subsequently built a 13-7 lead, and then Miami exploded for 24 points in the third quarter and took the lead. Commanding lead. Now they're holding on to a 31-27 lead.
Shula's over talking to Coach Tom Olivadotti, the defensive coordinator. Just put Marco in the game.
Marco's going to be in a lot of games over the next years. Miami has got a starter there and a starter in Troy Vincent, the cornerback, who's looked better and better as this game's worn on. Almost had an interception a bit ago. Olivadotti lamenting, you know, the real problem they had was their inside backers, the run stuffers, Offerdahl was out all of last season, or the last 10 games, and Grimsley was out the entire season.
And you gotta like Tom Aladwadati too, because he didn't make excuses about it. I mean, he just said exactly what it was. Look at this kick.
Roby rockets one downfield to Arthur Marshall. And he is out across to the 35. He's not done. He's out to the 45-yard line.
Here's when Jensen gets it. Jensen makes the play. There are no more timeouts for the Denver Broncos. We got 1:23 left to go. Obviously, they're going to be putting the ball in the air, and the Miami Dolphins are going to take a couple of guys, and Lifford Hobley being one of them, number 29, and move them back to about the 30-yard line. Give you everything short and nothing deep.
Our thanks to Chip Peake and Bill Duffy for their help in the booth, as right now the Broncos set up 1st down and 10, down by 4 points with 1:22 to play. Maddox has got a flood of people going deep. Overthrow and almost picked off by Vincent.
Marco Coleman is really upset. He's talking to Dale Hammer, the referee, and said, hey, look, I got held, which he did. He was in the backfield. He had a chance of making the play again and was pulled down.
Come on, Dave, don't get careless.
Got to put 2 people on him.
Coleman, 6'3", 248 pounds, a linebacker at Georgia Tech. He's going to be on the field for most defensive plays. They'll play him basically as an outside linebacker and as a down lineman in pass rushing situations. As Maddox rolls out. Ball down to the ruled incomplete at the 40-yard line.
I said you better put 2 people on Marco Coleman. Watch what happens. But just watch him now. Now they're blocking 2 people on him. He still gets away, and watch this. The only one man that's chasing Maddox is Marco Coleman. Better put him on the ground. Here he comes off the field. He's tired. Take the rest of the night off, Marco.
We thought he did, but he keeps going back out there. Maddox lets it fly. And again, almost a pickoff at the 34-yard line.
Come on, right here, right now, let's go. Keep time.
So the game clock now down to 1 minute to play.
Let's put Marco in for one more play. Just
hey, you're trying to protect the win. That's a good way to do it.
Well, and it's also a nice way to lose a lot of weight, because he's lost something tonight.
Hey, he comes hard every down.
Oh, he really does.
Boy, he just knocked it. And they came with a Tiger Green safety blitz. The nickelback, Tiger Green, comes busting through.
And at the end, that's the end of it. That was 4th down for the Denver Broncos. But old Tiger Green got in, made the play. They try to run away from Marco Coleman's side. They do that and do that, and they threw a safety blitz at him. Maddox really never sees him coming. To the right of the screen, you're going to see Tiger Green coming. The linemen are there. There's Coleman going along, and here comes number 41, Tiger Green, makes the play. Game's over. No more timeouts for Denver.
Tiger Green's real first name is George.
It says Tiger Green right here, 41.
Well, another Harvey Green, their PR guy, says his first name is George. His first name. Tiger sounds more formidable out there.
Stalked his prey that time.
5 sacks of Denver today by the Miami defense for 32 yards and losses. Shula's got to be pleased with that. Denver led the AFC in sacks last year with 52 and also led the conference in interception with 23. This really has evolved into a defensive ball club, the Denver Broncos. That's their greatest strength now. Shula's team built around offense. They're trying to improve the defense, and apparently have with the addition of people like Marco Coleman and Troy Vincent. That's going to do it. Final seconds are going to tick out, and Miami coming from behind to beat Denver 31-27 in the third American Bowl. Friendly handshake now. Coach Shula and Coach Reed.
Shula wants a winning attitude. It really is. I mean, he likes to win the game, yes, but it's not important. The winning attitude is important.
NBC Sports World is coming up next as we thank you for joining us at the American Bowl in Berlin, Germany. For Paul McGuire, this is Don Criqui. Glad you could be with us as the Miami Dolphins come back and win the game 31-27.